This podcast is a detective podcast in which you are the detective. The question is not who is the murderer, but who is the werewolf. After all the clues have been shown, you will get a chance to give your answer. Watch for the werewolf break.
Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast where we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
Who the hell was that guy that came in?
I don't know. He just wandered in here. It was very strange.
From this point on, by the way, John, can I throw this out?
Yeah.
Should we ever have to take, if we have to go to the restroom, can we now call that a werewolf break?
Yes. They've given it to us this far into the show. We finally have a thing. Yeah, we're going to take a werewolf break here.
I got to take a quick werewolf break.
Man,
We'll be right back.
This episode is so exciting. It's so exciting that we had to bring, for the first time ever, another person onto Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. Elliott Lewis is with us.
Yay!
Brendan, I'm so glad you did that because I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure what the format of the podcast was.
I just think that every single one of us had the same thought in our heads, and it was we have to do some sort of bow to the majesty that is that opening.
We have to give reverence.
I mean, I have to say, here's the thing. Elliott, you're the first guest we ever had on the show because we've never actually tried to get guests on the show. You demanded to come on this episode. You and I were at a wedding together, and you go, when you do The Beast Must Die, you have to bring me on the show. Because that's the kind of thing that Elliott and I are talking about at weddings, of course.
We need to hear your close personal relationship with this film.
Okay. So the year was 2017.
Paint the picture.
Olivia,
take us back there.
My best friend, my two best friends we were all living together. One of my best friends saw a post on Twitter that had basically the picture was the poster of this film, which is incredible. I know we're going to talk about that.
We will talk about it because it's amazing.
And a brief description of, you have to watch this movie. It's incredible. It's basically the most dangerous game, but with werewolves. And so she texted me this Twitter post and said, we have to watch this tonight. So I did a free trial subscription to Shudder so that I didn't have to pay for it.
I can't believe you don't have Shudder, Elliott, by the way, because I know you're the biggest horror fan out there. How do you not have Shudder?
I go back. I have multiple free subscriptions to Shudder every few months.
Perfect.
So
that sounds right.
Yeah. And then we started it up. We got the werewolf. It immediately was like, this is a detective story. And you'll have pick up all the clues. And we paused it and we said, we have to wait for our other best friend to get home so we can all watch this together because this is going to be an event.
This is kind of a party movie.
It's interactive. You can't just sort of come in the halfway point.
No.
I'm tracking. I was writing notes, jotting things down.
Well, as you know,
I created a little map.
As you're always amazed, Brendan, I have extensive notes on the movie, of course.
Man,
but that's every week on the show, though. That's not. Well, if I didn't do that, Brendan, we'd never get through these movies.
I know, it's true.
And I did, in fact, guess who the werewolf was.
Oh,
nice.
Not for any smart reason, really. But I don't know how early we want to spoil that.
You can go and the movies are so old on this show. We go for it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, let's hold off till we get there, though.
Well, because I will say, when you say you figured out
how you deductively came
who the werewolf is interesting.
I know.
You say that because
I knew who the werewolf was, but they still managed to do a little flippity flip. That was like, oh, hold on.
That I will say, I did not guess that twist as much as I went, wouldn't it be cool if that was the case? Well, I mean, it's not that much a spoiler. About halfway through the movie, I go, man, it'd be cool if there were two werewolves in this thing. And I will say the movie delivered on that. So
yeah.
But to be fair, every movie I watch, I hope there's more than one monster in it. So.
I would have loved if you said, every movie I watch, I always hope there's two werewolves in it.
I do remember seeing a movie.
Most movies are a disappointment to me because there are
a
not
movie
two werewolves
we
in
won't
it.
get to for a long time. The Benicio del Toro remake of The Wolfman. I remember sitting in the theater going, I hope there's another werewolf in the movie, and they fight at the end of the movie. And by God, spoilers, that did happen.
You also said the same thing when you saw Miss Congeniality 2. You're like, man, I hope there's two werewolves in it.
It's kind of...
And I still don't understand.
Once again, as I will say, Brendan, you've read the writing I do. That's the shit that happens in everything I write. So
yeah, two werewolves. Yeah,
and one werewolf comes, another. No, it's not all werewolves, but
Like, wait, this was like a Regency period piece. Where did the werewolf come from?
That's always my dream, is a movie that starts as one genre and then completely becomes another genre. I just love the idea of completely
I will say, you remember when they did those literary mashups like Pride and Prejudice
and
with
Zombies.
zombies or whatever?
Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters is my favorite title. I never read it, but I love the title.
But I sat there and I kept going, come on, the obvious one. The obvious one for me was the Werewolves of Wuthering Heights, and they didn't do it. I kept going, Wuthering Heights actually has dark, brooding Heathcliff, and it has a dog attack in it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's right there.
Maybe
know.
it was
And I
too
yelled
obvious for them.
I yelled at them, though they never heard me.
It
I
happens.
really just opened my window and was like, come on!
Yeah.
Werewolf of Wuthering Heights!
Well, didn't they do
Didn't
Android Karenina, or it was Anna Karenina, but she was a robot?
They did Android Karenina, and they...
Once
they
again,
did
just
one more.
that's just a chef's kiss of a title. I have no idea how the book
If it's
was,
any good.
but
true.
I'm not
Because
sure
I
how that
think
would work.
because I think the idea of those were more exciting than the execution of those.
Well, the ones you never hear about are the literary mashups. I used to work at a bookstore, Elliot. I used to work at Powell's.
Oh, nice.
And so stocking that place, you would sit there going, oh, they also did literary mashups where they took the classics that are all, of course, in the public domain and just added porn. So it was the same thing where it's like, it is the text. The original text, it's just, it takes these sideways. It's just like if you were reading Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. It's like, it is the book, and then zombies come in.
Yeah.
So they did the same thing with like, here's Dracula, but they're full on doing
It's actually
and you're like,
really sexy.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just Victorian sexy.
No.
It's actually
this
sexy.
is once
Here's the
again.
thing, it's not their version of sexy, which is, ooh, is that an ankle I see?
I think
it's much more.
I think
graphic.
this will once again add to the growing thread on the show that I'm a incredibly messed up human being, that I would be far more interested in the monsters showing up and stuff than any kind of porn.
Yeah, that does say a lot about it.
It does, where I'm
And
like,
again,
give me the sea
And
monster.
if there's two werewolves, you're on board.
Yeah,
The
but they're
book is already
fighting.
bought.
They're fighting. It's not sexual though.
Yeah, no, this is about them going.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk about. Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
pulling this back on.
The beast must die.
The
So
poster-
you've
Must
watched this
die.
for a second time now.
Yeah. I made my parents watch it earlier this year.
Nice.
wow,
Nice.
My mom didn't make it through it. She's a very classically has a history of going, this is dumb in the middle of a movie and leaving. But that's all. That's fine for her. That's
Yeah. I don't know that
Yeah, it was a little
dumb is
jarring
the
when she
word
did it in the
I
middle
would
of
use.
Memento.
This
This is dumb.
the movie's backwards. This is dumb. No.
This is just dumb.
Uh,
I figured it out.
It's mostly with movies that are like in like genre films. Like
Sure.
like she definitely walked out of Stardust when we saw that in the theater. I think
Oh,
the
come
exact moment was the unicorn coming, and she was like, "I'm out."
that sounds like my dad, but my
You
dad
didn't
is
tell
more
me there
just
was
like
unicorns.
Yeah,
My dad would not
she's
be
not
the-
big into the genre stuff.
That's kind of my dad too, where it's just like, oh god, there's dragons in this, and he knows that's the stuff I watch, so he's just like, oh shit, no, it's one of John's movies with the robots and the magic. Oh, god.
Ooh, magic robots.
Yeah, but he's
this,
just like, yeah.
this one, and John, I believe it's also your first time.
Yeah.
Watching this one, I had heard of this one a minute. I've read.
I was totally new to this movie across the board.
Years and years of horror movie books and the old Famous Monsters magazine. When I was a kid, I used to read that all the time, which actually just means I have this great awareness of the movies that have been made, and I've seen a lot. But this one, which I'd always heard of with the werewolf break, and I knew of it as a Peter Cushing werewolf movie, never.
I mean,
it never showed up.
Let's
So
rip
this
that
was my first
Band-Aid
time
off
watching it.
too, Brendan. Peter Cushing's back on this podcast.
I know. We love.
We briefly flirted with the idea of changing the name of the show in the second season to Peter Crushing because we
Peter
love
Crushing.
Peter Cushing so much.
Because he's great.
Oh, he's
he makes
best.
everything better.
He's the best. He does, and he so doesn't give a shit about being in this movie, though. This is
There
this
are
is
a
this is the
lot- there
most
are a
phoned in
lot-
I've ever seen him.
There are a lot of. I have seen many horror films. Brendan, I don't know if John has told you about my list.
No.
I
Are you an
I made a
obsessive-
list. It's like 350 movies
Something
long.
like that, and it's probably longer because that was a couple years ago. You sent me that.
It was a
list.
couple years ago. I'm working on organizing it right now by actual year.
It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I thought I was a fan of horror movies. Then Elliot sent me that list. I went, nope, never mind.
Listen,
Elliot, are you sort of cross what am I saying? Era.
Subgenre?
In
Or
other
era?
words, do you watch the old and
I've-
the new and the
Yeah, listen, Netflix and Amazon Prime used to be really cool and have a lot of weird niche horror films. So
Nice.
They did.
and I was bored and depressed in college, so I've seen a lot of horror movies.
Amazon still sneaks some weird stuff in.
Yeah.
I will say
Mhm.
Amazon
It's still
is almost.
if you look hard enough,
It's
there's still
there.
some good shit in there.
and I get weird stuff because I watch enough weird stuff that the new weird stuff gets recommended to me. So
Well, sadly, because of quarantine and just like everyone else in the world, but I always had an interest in true crime. But boy, did I go down that rabbit hole during quarantine of true crime documentaries. So
Mhm.
now Netflix, even when I'm watching whatever, I'm now watching all of Seinfeld again. It just keeps telling me about, here's a great documentary about a guy who dismantled people. I'm like, stop, man, stop. Show me something
If
else.
you like Seinfeld, you'll probably like this guy who dismembered a bunch of people.
I do love that idea.
John
Like,
Wayne Gacy, he used to walk around in clown makeup.
Yeah,
That's like Jerry Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
And you're like,
it's all-
what?
those are some of my favorite. The jumps that it'll make on stuff is great. But anyway,
Ridiculous.
yeah.
Back
But
on
anyway,
the
there
poster.
are a lot of like late 60s and like through the 70s horror movies that Peter Cushing is just inexplicably in.
Yeah.
And most of them he is phoning it in.
Well,
This one's pretty bad.
he of course earlier in the decade or later in the 60s, at the height of Hammer, he's fully invested.
Oh God.
But by the time he's
Is he
making
ever.
these, which are Amicus, this was an Amicus one.
Yes.
And he
Which
made
I
a
wanna-
lot with Amicus.
I want to talk
I
about
think
Amicus.
it was post the death of his wife. I think it was
Which-
he showed up and he did the job.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah,
a lot
babe.
of the joy is kind of gone.
Well, we talked about that because
Um,
we talked about him, a lot of his biography when we were doing Hammer stuff, that when his wife died, he was just like, well, the rest of my life doesn't matter until I can get back
He's
to
like,
her.
what is the point of continuing?
That's basically
Well,
it.
I'll tell you, sir, because you have not yet played Grand Moff Tarkin. That
We gotta
need
get
to
you
stick
there,
with.
and then
Yeah.
you can
Which
check
he,
out.
not phoning in, he's
No, that's
fantastic
horrible.
in Star
I
Wars.
wish he were
though.
immortal.
But yeah, he basically was just like, well, I'm a shell of a man now. He was way into
And
his
yet,
wife.
he's still, I still enjoy
And
seeing him
actually,
here.
I did dig through the trivia on this. More stories of him just being lovely to work with and nice to all the co-stars. And was it like one of the actors was talking about that when she arrived on set, her dressing room had flowers that had been sent by him, and he was just
Oh, what a class!
every
act.
story we've ever heard.
So cute.
That's why we love him so much. Not only because he's in these movies, but every story about him, he was just the sweetest, most gentlemanly British man. Yeah.
Which also makes that weird rape scene in that Frankenstein movie even creepier.
And remember, he really didn't like that and like
Yeah,
protested
he's like,
it.
I don't want to do this, and they're
And-
like, we
and
need
was-
to spice it up for the Americans.
Exactly.
Okay.
They needed to do that, but he was so protective of the actress there and
Yes.
voiced his outrage at having to do it and always stated years later about like that was unacceptable. So, yeah,
Oh,
he
we
was
love
just
Peter
the best guy.
Nice.
He's
My man.
underused in this movie though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, why is it not Peter Cushing trying to find a werewolf?
I will
It's like-
say it's
yeah.
a great collection of character actors.
Oh, you're gonna
yeah.
you're gonna hear me talk about Charles Gray, Brendan.
I know we're going to hear you talk about Charles Gray, and we'll talk
There's
about
a-
Michael Gambon, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about all these people, but it's sort of like,
Dumbledore and Blofeld are in this movie.
they basically said, you know what, guys? don't be subtle. Not for
No.
this one.
Not an ounce of subtlety in any performance in this
Calvin
movie.
Lockhart.
Calvin Lockhart is just
Calvin Lockhart.
having the time of his
He
life.
really
It's
is.
so hard to find like information about like the behind the scenes of this movie unless you buy the DVD to
Yeah.
get the
Oh.
director's commentary, which I didn't do.
Oh,
Um,
I would love to
but-
hear the director's commentary on this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I would
Apparently,
too.
he hates the werewolf break thing. Like
Yes.
he has his own cut of the movie where like that shit isn't in
That
it. And
I
he's
did
like,
see-
I don't know why they
Yes.
did it.
And that is
The writer and the
IMDb
director
trivia.
both are like, we don't want this
'cause
shit. And it was the
Yeah.
producer who's like,
it
well,
is-
this is a stinky ass movie, so we're gonna put in
It
a werewolf.
is a William Castle-esque, gimmicky, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it really does ruin. It does kind
Why
of
not
ruin
have
the
Vincent
movie.
Price just walk onto the scene
Yes,
and
good
look right at the
evening.
camera and go, I think you know who the werewolf is. Do you think you know? We'll be back in 30 seconds. Tell us who the werewolf might be.
And Vincent Price never
it is
turned
about
any.
that
He never
song.
turned anything down, so he would have done that.
It's kind of true, and
I
he
don't
made
think-
his fair share for Amicus. Was he just not on, on their
Look,
payroll?
look!
at the
If
time?
the check's clear, I'll be there.
Sorry, I was busy making another Dr. Phibes.
Oh God.
No,
Yeah.
The Abominable Dr. Phibes is one of the greatest films ever made. Yep, no, sorry.
We
Elliot,
have talked
sorry.
about doing
I
a
just
miniseries
no, because
about him.
I groan because there's just so fucking many of them that I'm like, this can't be good, and so I haven't bitten the bullet on it yet.
Oh man.
Well, it's true. And Vincent Price that's one of those, if you want to go down and do the whole, the whole filmography, good luck. That's
Oh,
another
it's-
2 years of your
and
life.
There's a significant number of the ones on my list that are Vincent Price. I watched a lot of Vincent Price stuff last October.
Did you do a lot of the Corman stuff, like the Poe movies? And
Yeah, I did most of the Poe movies.
There's some
maybe I
gems
did all of
in the
them.
Price filmography.
Because there's a lot of them too. I did Black Cat. I did
That's good, man.
I did the Fall of the House of Usher. That's one of them, right?
I like that
I
one,
did
Hitting the Pendulum?
They did Pin the Pendulum, which is a fucking
Yeah.
wild ass movie.
Yeah.
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 Mask of the Red Death, that one's really
Yes,
good.
I did that one too.
Yeah. The Raven.
And when I say really good,
Yeah.
I'm there are things in it that are
I said I think there are some gems in the Price filmography, but they are few and far between. Like Witchfinder
like
General.
another Peter Cushing one,
on track.
Madhouse, which he actually
Yes,
was
Madhouse.
not phoning it in for. Pretty
No,
good.
he's good in
Yeah.
Madhouse.
Well, Amicus did a lot of the anthology stuff too.
Yeah.
We're really avoiding talking about this
Well,
movie, and I don't know why.
I think
I don't know why.
Amicus
I
is,
love this movie.
I love this movie too.
Yeah, this movie is it's like I said.
Hopping back on the poster, let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about this poster because I love talking
We
about
got
the posters.
one adorable little puppy in this thing. Look at him.
I
Look
mean,
at that.
this is yet another
So
movie,
bad.
Brendan. We've watched a
I
lot of
love
these
that doggo
from the
Ooh,
70s.
that doggo.
What is this? The third or fourth werewolf movie we've watched where the wolf is played by a German shepherd? Not even werewolf movies, but just like the Dracula movies when he's doing wolves. It's always just like somebody's family dog.
And what I always say is like, that might work if you keep it really in the dark. You don't see it very often. And this movie, I would love to hear the director's commentary because where's the justification of letting the camera linger on a happy tongue-wagging dog, and that's our werewolf.
That just has a weird faux fur cape on.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Holy mackerel! It's like those hippie fur vests.
Yeah.
They just put like a hippie fur vest on
That's
on
not a dog.
on a German Shepherd. It's like going hi. It looks friendly.
Which was that Satanic Rites of Dracula when we had a whole army of hippie henchmen wearing those vests?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that is-
It's like
that
how do we know
movie-
the bad guys are? They're the ones with the fuzzy vests.
That was it, and then they were just cannon fodder at that
This
point.
was not a good way to go. I do respect when a werewolf movie decides, you know what, they turn into a wolf. Maybe a very big one, but it's a full-on wolf.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London, perhaps the greatest werewolf movie of all time.
Oh, we'll get there someday, man. I can't wait to talk
we
about
will.
that movie.
But I mean, there's
That's
got to
good.
be a better way than putting a fur vest on a Great Dane or whatever.
It is really like the lowest point of the movie. Like
It is because the
They're
setup
building
of
to a
this
thing,
movie,
and then when you see it, you're just like, oh no.
That's
a dog.
like a lot of movies.
It's just a fucking dog.
Like a lot of the movies we talk about, the setup of this movie is so cool, and then when that happens, it's undone. I still like the movie overall, but like, what a cool setup for the movie. And getting back to the poster, it's all about the setup of this movie. So yes, the center of the poster is this gigantic moon with a werewolf dog just being like, "How's it going? Hey, how you doing?"
This isn't what we see in the film.
It's not.
No.
This is.
We don't get anything close.
No. But
this
still,
looks a lot like the one from The Boy Who Cried Werewolf, where it's human eyes, but he has a snout.
A little bit, a little bitty snout.
Brendan,
bitty snout.
Don't
fangs.
remind me of The Boy Who Cried Werewolf again. That's
the worst film we've seen.
That's
so
the worst
far.
film we've done on this show.
Unbelievable.
Man, that was
Elliot, have you
terrible.
ever seen that one?
No.
Ooh, that one really. Like,
I mean,
save
just
yourself.
since you obsessively create the list, you might, but no, it is literally the worst we've ever seen. It is incompetent on every level. But I gave them credit for
shockingly
creating
bad.
a snout makeup for their werewolf, which
Yeah,
not a lot of the werewolf
we
movies
talked
do.
about while the makeup looks good in a still in execution as played by the actor.
I don't know. These stills look pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they're bad.
We just
and
like
he
the
just walks
snout.
around going, yeah.
Yeah,
Like they
it
said,
does. This
we
looks-
created a jaw that works, so make sure you do that a lot. So he just walks around going,
If I didn't know any better, I would say that like somebody took a still from that and just like redrew it very badly
It
and
looks
put it on this
so
poster.
very close to it. Yes,
It
that
does,
I almost
yeah,
suspect they did steal.
Yeah, I mean, because and once again, similar to that movie, the werewolf though is not particularly threatening in this image. He's just kind of going, "What's up? How you doing?" Yeah, because he's looking out the side.
The Beast Must Die.
Yeah.
I think he actually just heard the doorbell, and that's his Uber Eats driver. He's like,
Oh. What was that?
I'm sorry, my Wendy's is here. I gotta go get my Wendy's.
The looking out the side of the eye does look like it's just like, wait, hey, what was that? Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, my roommate's home. What?
And so
I
that,
didn't get your check.
and of course, because it's a horror movie,
Close my door when you leave.
there have to be
We
bolts
agreed
of
on what
lightning.
the sock on the doorknob meant.
There have to be bolts of lightning, of course.
Yes.
Going across the moon, and then we've got the big estate, and
Yeah.
just
there's
a
like
man's
flat
body in
horizon
front of
line
it.
and the estate, and then one painted or drawn body
Yeah,
just on the ground.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then this feels very 70s to me. The square, or the rectangular images
yeah.
of the actors. Like, I know they're doing it
The
here
mug
for like.
shots.
Well, this is doing it for the suspects, but even something like Airport has a poster like this.
Yeah.
With all the like, and this person, and him, and her as well.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Who will land the plane? The alcoholic, the pop star, the flight attendant. It's all that stuff.
Oh my
Like,
God.
okay.
This is not an airplane movie. It's a detective movie.
Well, and then this is really selling it to you as the mystery, right? I mean, first off, we get
Yes.
when the moon is full, the beast must die.
We've talked about movies like this before too, John, where I think it's hilarious to always go, I hate movie titles that tell me what I have to do. And this one is forcing. It was like, The Beast Must Die?
Yeah.
Who says?
Yeah,
Who says?
yeah.
Hey, Tom Newcliffe, that's who.
Tom Newcliffe said, and when he says the title, I went off.
Mm-hmm.
I was
yeah.
like, title!
Oh, I do love a
The
title
Beast
drop
Must
in
Die.
dialogue.
One
So
of these 8 people will turn into a werewolf.
All right.
Period.
yeah,
They're like, you know what?
It's
We
a
don't need to
statement of
oversell
fact.
that with an exclamation mark.
Sentence.
it's just a
Fact.
fact. Yeah.
Declarative.
Yeah. One of these people will turn into a werewolf. Now, see, that right there, as previously stated, would be enough to get me in the theater. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done. Sure.
And then
but
it ramps it up, though.
Yeah.
Ramps it up.
Can you guess who it is when we stop the film for the werewolf break? They say it like that's a thing. Like, oh, this
I
movie
know.
is a werewolf break? I love werewolf breaks.
It seems like forever since I saw a
Yeah.
movie, The Werewolf Break.
Been a grip since I've had a werewolf break.
Golly, what was the last one? Was it Paper Moon? Did that have a werewolf break in it?
It had a moon.
Sorry,
sounds
actually,
like-
Paper Moon is still in the future, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
Like 75, maybe. All right.
yeah. Oh, adorable little Tatum O'Neal in that.
But she turned out to be the werewolf. I remember how
I
startled
think that's how
was.
that did. And then yes, it says, this is so like 70s grindhouse horror stuff that I love. See it, solve it, but don't tell. That's right.
Man.
Hush up.
Yeah.
No spoilers.
William Castle could not have done better.
No, we've talked about how much I love the huckster charlatan promotion of old-timey movies, and this is late to be doing that, but this is
It really is.
so
This is way past
Castle-esque.
that.
It does destroy any legitimacy the movie has. Like it totally makes it into this, which I love, this kitschy, basically gamified movie.
I do understand the director going, man, I hated that, but does it add something? Yeah, it does. Because if you
it
were
gets
watching
butts in
this
the
one,
seats.
Yeah.
it does get butts in the seats, and it does add an element where if you already have this very hammy overacting and you have a dog with a furry vest, you need something. Because if you just tried to sell that straight, most people would say they're going, worst werewolf movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Play up the gimmick. Play up the
Yeah.
gimmick that this is either 10 Little Indians or it is Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah,
with werewolves.
they've
You're like,
managed to combine
Which
those
one
two
is the murderer?
stories
Which one's
into a werewolf movie, which I enjoy. I just love here because I'm seeing the thing. Despite writer-director Paul Annette's objections, producer Milton Subotsky. What a name. That's a producer name. And also, I just clicked on this guy. Oh, some of his credits. This is the man who gave us Lawnmower Man.
Oh, cool.
And to this day, the only directorial effort of Stephen King, Maximum Overdrive.
Oh, wow.
So this guy, Milton Subotsky, is
really
just
in the cocaine years
Yes.
there with old Steve, with all Uncle Steve.
I love the idea of them meeting to talk about the movie at something like Hamburger Hamlet in L.A. and they're both just coked out of their minds. Like,
Well,
yeah.
looking at
and the truck has a big face on it. Yeah.
oh my god! I mean, looking at his filmography, it's just nothing but schlock. They came from beyond space. The house that dripped blood. Scream and
yeah.
scream again.
I do like that
It's
one.
not
From
good.
beyond the grave.
I've seen Scream and Scream again.
I think you've probably seen a lot of his movies, Elliot.
Yeah, probably.
And then down the stretch, it becomes a lot of Stephen King stuff because he also does Cat's Eye. Sometimes They Come Back. Is that a King thing?
Oh, that's another Stephen.
Oh,
that
it
is,
is.
yeah,
Stephen
right.
King, yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
based on like a
It's-
short story.
His last 6 movies are all Stephen King stuff. So I think he just
Wow.
sort of hooked into that.
Stephen King was like, the man who made The Beast Must Die gets me.
Yeah.
He gets me, man.
Gets me.
The Land That Time Forgot was this guy.
wow.
Speaking of Peter Cushing, the Peter Cushing Doctor Who movies he made. Those
Oh.
So
super
he was
weird.
I mean, he
Yeah.
was around long before this.
Yes.
And he lasted way into the late 80s.
1921 the guy was born, so
Jeez.
he was the founder of Amicus.
Oh.
So yeah,
Well, there you go.
a history in horror and such like that. Interesting guy. I will say, I just want to point out one thing about the
Please do.
the video poster for this promises me a movie that this does not deliver, and it bums me out because it's just Peter Cushing with a big rifle and a wolf image behind him, and I'm like, oh, Peter Cushing's gonna kill himself a werewolf. Yes,
He does hold a rifle for about a minute.
Yeah, I mean they did pull it from this movie, but
Did you read the helpful hints for the werewolf break?
no. What was no?
It's there on IMDb. It's right after the poster.
The helpful hints for the werewolf break.
Yeah, I think this was handed out to, if you went to see the film, they probably gave you this, and it was just sort of like a little souvenir keepsake, and it's written by Dr. Donald A. Reed, the national president of the Count Dracula Society.
Oh God,
Because
they're
he
back.
would be the guy you'd go to for anything related to werewolves.
We've talked about the Dracula Society on here before.
Yep.
They've approved some
and
movies.
I certainly have read things he's
Oh, there it is. Helpful
written
hints for the
because-
werewolf break.
Yeah, it's basically him backing up all the nonsense that's in the movie, including like the silver bullet test. It's like that.
Also, I mean, I don't know about copyright infringement, but this is just the poem from the Wolfman on here.
I know. It's so hilarious the way that's presented, as if that was an actual folkloric thing.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, created by a Hollywood screenwriter in the 1940s.
So, yeah, that's the poster. No alternate taglines on this one, Brendan. But I do, before
Big
we
drag.
get to the movie, want to mention that this is based on a short story called, also a great title, There Shall Be No Darkness.
Yeah.
Which was by James Blish.
James Blish. That guy wrote 1.5 million books.
James
Big
Blish.
sci-fi author. He's the guy who adapted all the original Star Trek episodes into their own novellas.
Oh, well then I have
Like if
I
you
have
bought
his
like
books.
yeah. So if you bought like Star Trek 1, it would be like an anthology book, and it'd have a short story version of, the arena or something and all that.
I have a big hardcover collection of all of those collected because I'm a nerd.
That's all right, man. We're here for you. This is a safe space.
Yeah, you guys can also see all the phasers I own. So on the video.
Are they all on stun? Oh, I hope so.
Yes, they're all safely set on stun. I looked up this story. The story isn't this Agatha Christie kind of thing like this.
I read a brief synopsis as well, because I didn't realize the first couple times I watched this that
I
it
didn't
was
do that. So
based on anything.
What is?
I mean, honestly,
gist?
it sounds really boring compared to this movie.
It's a short story. Come on, it's not like that he had to come up with 3 acts.
It's got all the same characters, and it's a guy invites these people over for a weekend gathering, but then the werewolf makes itself known immediately, and it sounds like it turns into a siege story, because then it's about they have to barricade themselves in, they have to fashion silver bullets to fight it. There's none of this. He already has an arm.
So the hunter didn't set this up.
No, he's not a hunter. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
Who has people over, and somebody ends up being a werewolf. And then
We've
it's
all
like,
been there.
we've got to deal with this.
Honestly, the movie premise sounds way more plausible.
Well, I just love the insanity of him going, I've invited you all here. And one of you is a werewolf.
Fucking kill ya.
No, when you said Agatha Christie, that's exactly what they're trying, like with Telenity, and then there were none. It's exactly that. And when he said that line, that is like the cliche line that you do in a locked room mystery movie, where it's like, one of you in this room is a murderer. Only you change it out with werewolf, and you're like going, I laughed again for about 5 minutes because I was like going,
no, I mean, this is not a good. This is not a good movie, but this movie is so much fun. It's so
Tom knows these people in various ways, and when he starts listing off that these people who are acquaintances of his have all had people gutted and eaten.
Yes,
I'm going,
I believe
in my circle of friends, maybe one. I mean,
look, we all know one guy who gutted somebody.
I'm sitting there going,
listen, rich people are wild.
Yeah.
It's true.
They know the weirdest people.
Well, there is something about that, right? That this is another. A lot of the movies we do on here, a lot of the monster movies are sort of high society. There's no question. Everyone here is a bon vivant, artiste or rich person in some capacity. They're all society folks. So it is sort of the fun of like, and one of you is a werewolf. And yes, we do. Calvin Lockhart, he makes this movie, man. He is, for as checked out as Cushing is, he is locked in.
Lockhart has enough focus for the both.
Yeah.
It's not just focus either, and that's true, but it's sort of like, there's you're at the ballpark, and there's the back wall, and then there's the parking lot beyond, and then there's sort of like an apartment building complex that's even far. That's where he aimed. He hit that ball.
He hit that ball into some person's living room.
He's gone so far, and it's hilarious.
We don't even have a baseball team in this city.
He is. And I looked at his IMDb. I was like, I'm curious, and what a great long career, and I'm happy for him.
Twin
But
Peaks,
in this
man.
thing, they just said there's no restrictions, just go. And he's like, great.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost a Matt Berry character. Some of his line readings are very when he lets things roll. He's like, either a man,
But that's what we want out of the leads of
or
these
a
kind of movies.
woman.
One of the
And he like, what's
one
the
of our
word?
complaints on these shows is the boring movies often have these super stuffy, boring performances of these guys.
It's true.
It's just like he's in schlock and he's playing it to the moon, you know?
It is broad.
That's
and
what I
broad
want.
and-
Yeah, dude was like, after the first time after I watched this movie, I looked this dude up because I was like, this guy's incredible. Why
Yeah.
have I never heard of him?
Yeah, you're entranced by Calvin Lockhart.
But like he was invited, like grew up in the Bahamas, moved to Queens to make it as an actor, and does so much shit, is so good. Gets invited to be a part of the resident at the Royal Shakespeare
First,
Company.
I
that's
see that on their first black actor to do that.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I would love to have seen this guy do Shakespeare with the kind of energy he's bringing here.
Oh God! You know what I would love is if he and William Marshall had made a film together, because when we did the Blackula films, it's a similar thing where William Marshall owns. Those are goofy bad movies, and he's Shakespearean. I mean, that was his training. He was stage Shakespearean.
But
and he's so amazing
with him when he is Blackula, he is talking like this. It's just like
I would love a Calvin Lockhart, William Marshall crossover, and that would be the best movie I've ever seen.
it would. I don't think the screen could contain the two of them.
And again,
energy.
you look at that man's career, and the fact that he ends up in Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me is just like, and Wild at Heart. So he made towards the end of his career, he made.
And lest we forget, I see on
Lynch.
here a favorite of mine, Brendan, Predator 2.
I know that's your favorite. Yeah. Is it because it has the two werewolves in it that are fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but I heard there were two
If
werewolves.
you've seen the director's cut,
What is a predator if not a werewolf from space?
It's
Word.
basically it's kind of a space werewolf.
He just doesn't turn into anything.
Yeah, but I mean,
It takes the armor off.
Yeah.
yeah,
He cloaks himself.
Yeah.
you
go.
one
You know.
ugly motherfucker. But all right, that's enough. I'll talk about Predator all day.
Yes,
so
we're all in love with Mr. Lockhart.
he's great, and then.
worth watching.
But then also in this movie we have Charles Gray, a man who never had subtlety in any performance.
Nope.
He
And I wouldn't want it from him.
Well, he was a pretty terrible Blofeld, I think, because he was so cartoonish that he forgot to be scary.
Yeah, but he petted the shit out of that cat.
He did. He also had hair, which I didn't love either.
No, I always want Blofeld to be bald with a scar. It's just, that's my Blofeld.
I agree.
Hashtag, that's my Blofeld.
I mean, Donald Pleasance is and forever will be Blofeld to me.
Word.
Except no substitutes.
I also thought
R.I.P.
Tom Chadbon, how you pronounce his name, was great, and I've seen him in other things, including a great Doctor Who run. He played a character in the Trial of the Time Lord, which is
Holy
a great
shit!
Doctor
And he's
Who,
in a Bond
run.
movie too. He's in Casino
Yep.
Royale, the Craig one. Way late in the
Oh
career.
shit.
This guy's still alive.
And Michael Gambon, you can't go wrong with Michael Gambon. You cannot.
Oh.
He has nothing to do in this movie.
Nope.
I just thought, I mean, I know it's early in his career, but I'm like, why are you wasting this guy?
It's
He's
one of those
amazing.
things where you're like, don't you know that's Michael Gambon? He can do so much. And you're
He
having
has
him
like 3 lines of dialogue and the world's second most boring car chase scene
Yeah.
after Mitchell. Which
Well.
during that I kept going, Mitchell!
Yeah.
Because it was that boring.
And it's really long too.
It's really
it's
long.
No.
way too long.
You're like, that's a nice European car, but not a speedster. And then a safari Jeep, which we all know are not known for speed. And look at him go!
That
for
sequence,
15 minutes.
That sequence, though, really made me go, we are aggressively in the mid-70s. Like, that's the kind of thing in the music being like... And the score is trying to sell you on the excitement of this chase. Is like, no,
and it didn't. I didn't buy.
No.
I kept my money. I said, no.
I mean,
I sat there and vibed the music and just sort of spaced out until they were talking.
yeah, I was like, oh, dialogue. What's that?
I just put that sequence on as a loop at the background of parties.
Yeah.
It really gets things going.
We should start in sequential order.
Yes.
Let's talk about the beginning.
Well,
of the movie,
we already
which
did.
I will say this, not problematic at all.
When I made my parents watch this earlier this year, I forgot that it's like a whole 5 minute, five straight minutes of people with guns chasing a black man through a forest.
Yeah.
And my parents were both looking at me and I'm like, no, you gotta stick with
That's
me,
kind of how I felt watching it. Watching it
I mean,
yesterday and just being like, okay.
Yeah,
immediately I'm like, he better get out of here. I don't like the look of any of this.
If it's 2021 and it's your first time watching it, like it was for me, and you don't know who's going to be main character or not or whatever, I remember just sitting there. I remember because this was earlier today, but I was watching the opening, going, "Oh no, oh no."
I don't like the look of any of this. And then when he rolls up on a garden party on a big estate with a bunch of white people, I'm like, "Oh, dude, no!" I'm like, dude, this is a Jordan Peele movie. This is
I was thinking, like, oh no, this Most Dangerous Game turned out to be a bad one.
I'm going, this movie's way scarier in a real world way than I was ready for.
Yeah.
And then they shoot him, and I went, no!
Get out!
Then when they shoot him, and I once again didn't know the context of any of this, I'm going like, I thought this was a werewolf. Where the hell is this thing going? But no. And by the way, I don't know if you saw this in the trivia, Brendan, but we almost didn't have Calvin Lockhart as the lead of this thing.
I didn't see that.
We almost had Robert Shaw. Quint himself from Jaws. Yeah. He was attached to this project for a while. He would have been much different.
Very subtle act.
I mean, later we saw that man obsessively hunt a shark pretty effectively. So they ended up casting Calvin Lockhart, as they said, because Amicus was looking to cash in on the popularity of blaxploitation. So they're like, we should get a black guy in
the first
there.
5 minutes of this film. Yeah.
Well, except for, I mean,
it's also the moment when he just puts on
blaxploitation, the black central character is the guy who's going to be dishing out the bad stuff. Usually, they're going to be the badass, which of course Tom does become. But at the very beginning, you're sitting there going, no, this isn't a blaxploitation vibe. This is a different exploitation vibe. This is deep South. Southern fried.
This made sense to me though when I read that, and I go, that moment when he basically just puts on Shaft's coat halfway through the movie, to be like, this is my badass coat, and you're like,
I don't want anything from the 70s to come back, but I gotta admit, like a nice black leather trench coat kind of thing. I'm like,
I was like,
I would not look good in one, but just looking at that, I was like going, you were born to wear that, sir, and I hope you wore the fuck out of it. I hope you stole it from the set.
Yeah.
I'm
Mr. Lockhart,
so
I hope you took it home.
That Calvin Lockhart didn't get some kind of Shaft or Slaughter or some kind of blaxploitation franchise where I could watch him killing, white gangsters for 4 movies.
I think it would have been awesome if there had been a blaxploitation offshoot which had someone like him, where it's not about I'm a bad mother from the streets, but it's like I'm highly erudite and very scholarly and just
that is
completely
the thing that's
capable hunter guy. I would have been down for that.
That's
shit.
The thing. So they cast a black guy to cash in on blaxploitation, but they don't change the script at all from it just being upper crust British gentleman, which is great.
I do think that's in a weird way and probably an unfortunate way. We're just talking about the time it was made in. That in itself, a great twist.
Absolutely.
When
he
you
doesn't
find
play
out
like a
that
blaxploitation
this was
hero.
all something he arranged. This is his place. He is wealthy beyond my dreams, and all this stuff. You're like going, good on you, Tom. But you've got a fucked up obsession, but still good on you because you are a badass with a really nice mansion.
The other thing this scene sets up, though, aside, of course, from the horrifying opening of them chasing this guy, is all the cameras and microphones hidden throughout the woods.
Right.
And once again, I'm watching with no context, just going, what the hell is going on in this movie?
We are, for those who are listening and didn't watch the movie, but
which mistake on your part this time.
On an athletic black guy in like a burglar outfit almost. He's in full black and he's running through the forest, and there are these white guys with rifles chasing him, and he's also being watched remotely somewhere
by a guy with a German
cameras
accent,
and trees
which
and
doesn't
microphones. Help. Nope. And then they're like, they're not killing him. So you're like, what's going on?
No, in
And then
fact,
he
there are
breaks
several
through
points where they're like, "Good, now let him go."
Yeah.
Good. It's like,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like,
because
bang, you're dead.
we keep cutting back to Gray.
Oh, I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Bennington.
Bennington, who isn't actually Charles Gray. This is Anton Diffring, who plays Pavel.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's tracking.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Bennington's
I
the-
was looking at the wrong person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Pavel is the one tracking
Yeah,
him,
he's got
right.
his own accent
Chekhov?
going.
No, sorry. Yeah.
But
He's
finally,
doing great.
That would have
our
been
lead
great. I
character
could-
Tom breaks through the forest, and like John said, there's a fancy garden party going on. They have no idea. Like they're looking at him, going, "What's going on?" And then the guys break out of the trees with the rifles and they shoot
Yeah.
Tom.
Who falls to the ground, plain dead, seemingly.
Playing dead.
Even though he
Committing to the bit.
didn't
he really
know
commits.
that they were going to shoot with blanks.
And then his party
I can
guests all
understand,
run
like,
over,
hitting the
"Oh
ground
my
thinking you're
God,
being-
what have you done?" And they're
Yeah.
checking his pulse, and then he gets up. He's like,
'Cause-
that was pretty good." They're like, "Oh, Tom."
Oh, Tom.
Because Pavel comes out and he
Irascible.
goes, "Yes, I put blanks in their guns. I thought that would be a thrill." He's not Vincent Price, but he was turning into Vincent Price there. This movie could have used Vincent Price. He would have slipped into this ensemble without missing a beat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
As-
energy would have
yeah.
fit.
So we've been introduced to Tom Newcliffe,
Yeah.
who owns this mansion,
Yeah.
and he's invited all these rich white people. And he has his fiance, or is it his wife? Have they actually
His
married?
wife,
They're-
yeah.
It is his wife.
because
yeah.
of the rings, right?
Yeah.
The rings.
Mhm.
His wife is there as well, and it seems like a nice weekend for this weird obsessive hunter who has cameras in the trees.
Yeah, has he made his fortune from hunting? Is that the idea?
If not, he at least spent a lot of his money on.
Because
Being a
I
big
just like the
game
idea of
hunter.
him being professional badass. Like, is he a maybe he's like a mercenary or something like that. I don't know. Soldier
But if
for
he
hire.
is, why would
I
he
could've
know all
sworn-
these people that are artists and
'cause I
piano
could've-
players and
Oh, was there something in the movie, Elliot?
I could have sworn that there was some throwaway line about him being like not an art dealer, but like
Oh, that.
Oh.
in that
That
world,
would
like
make
some
sense.
profession in that world, which
Okay.
would make, or that was my brain providing a reason for him
I
knowing.
mean,
all
that
of
would
these
make
random
sense, right? Because he
people.
Elliot,
knows.
is this just coming from your fan fiction?
Well, you see, I've written a lot about the Beast Must Die. have a lot of-
Are you referring to the Nuclear Chronicles, which is my ongoing
My
adventure?
self-published.
Yeah.
Published. They do before and after this movie. After, yes.
That's right. He missed the end.
He missed.
Yeah, the bullet made him stronger. No, let's
Yeah,
see.
the bullet just made him angry.
So yeah, they
Chronicles, that's all right.
let's see. So then he's like he has Pavel play back the footage, and they're testing. He's like, yes, I saw the microphones out there. Anyone could destroy them. And then Pavel lights up all these lights on the board. He goes, really? Because we have like 1 million of them out there. So even if they get a couple,
We have some that are under the ground
Yeah.
and can detect a heartbeat from like a mile. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like
that would
that's
be really
not like
a lot of information,
and
that would be very confusing.
And it all
'cause, you know,
feeds to a
birds and squirrels.
right,
and,
but
And
we're
deer.
surrounded by werewolves.
But
No,
he
it's a
says that
pigeon.
it all feeds to a computer that can identify whatever the creature is by the sound of it walking.
true.
And you're like, what is this?
you can't even do that in 2021. What the fuck is this Star
I know.
Trek shit?
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing
is like-
that 1970.
I was not ready for the science fiction of this movie.
Yeah, Pavel is this German, Austrian guy.
It's weird because
who
he's got
works
a
for
Russian
Tom.
name, but a very German or Austrian accent.
Yeah,
This
and he
part would be
basically gets to
played by
spend-
Christoph Waltz in a remake.
Exactly. He gets to
Yeah.
spend the entire wonderful weekend basically sitting in this control room looking at these grids and things. What a delight.
Before he's-
Everyone else is like, "Oh, that was a wonderful 4-course dinner," and meanwhile Pavel's like going, "I'm okay in here.
Yeah.
I got some Ritz crackers. I'm good.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
left.
No, don't
That's
worry
all
about
right.
me."
No,
I got some milk. It's good.
Tom left me with some snacks.
I got fruit roll-ups for days. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I'm good.
Because they're talking about, and Pavel doesn't know what any of this is for. He goes, "What are you worried about? Security? About your enemies coming for you?" And Tom is just like, "Yes, something like that."
Oh, he delivers the ominous stuff really well.
He
Oh,
does.
good.
Lots
Like,
of long pauses and I am implying things,
yes.
inferring.
Dude, if you know you're in garbage like this is the way to do it. You don't check out.
You kind of
lean
do
in.
want to just go big. Go
Yeah.
big or go home.
Yeah.
Why are you in
Yeah.
this movie if you're not just going to be chewing the scenery?
Yeah, because
Delicious scenery.
everything here is so insane and over the top from the get-go. Just lean in, and he definitely does. Let's see. What does he say here? This is where he goes to the rundown of the guests. This is where we get, he's an art, and this is where we get all the stuff about and weren't people mysteriously ripped apart after you visited that part of the world?
Yeah, Tom goes out to basically apologize for the blanks and all that, and then he goes through, well, I had a reason for inviting you all out here, and it wasn't just for a pleasant whatever. And then he just goes, hey, everywhere each one of you has gone, haven't there been mysterious deaths with people being gutted?
Which doesn't make sense, right? Because that just happened. So the people who aren't werewolves, that was also just coincidentally happening?
Yeah,
I know.
guess.
We never get any explanation of once we know who the werewolf is, we're like, well, what about those other people?
Yeah. Like,
What
it
the
makes sense for the guttings to happen around one of the other people,
Right.
but
Right.
Unless this dude is traveling around
It's
to
like,
the other
you know
places,
what? I'm gonna
just
go visit my
gutting
buddy.
folks.
Yeah, it's not like they always travel in this group and people are getting gutted.
Yeah.
No,
Not
then
join
the
at the
movie just
hip.
doesn't give a damn about that, which I love. It's just like, who cares?
Charles Gray plays Bennington. I can't remember what his background is.
I will say the movie does do objectively a bad job of giving us the stories of the suspects. Aside from a few, it really gives us some backstory on some of them, and then Charles Gray has nothing. He's just there.
Yeah, I'm literally drawing a blank. Like, I'm...
Yeah.
Other than I was
Paul,
watching it and
who's
went,
the
that's
guy
Charles
played by
Gray.
Tom Chadbon
Yeah.
is an artist. We
yeah,
get
he's
that.
a painter.
Yeah,
He's
and
a painter,
and
okay.
he's a real weirdo, especially like
Oh,
a
he-
70s hippie
Yes.
weirdo.
He was also in medical school, and he and his buddies ate human flesh.
Yeah,
Yes, that's right.
which is one of my
That's a
favorite
bad
scenes.
because
That's one of my
That's a whole
favorite scenes
spin-off.
because he's just like, sure, yeah. I mean, everybody was doing it. What?
He goes, they were medical cadavers.
Yeah.
We all just ate a little piece of flesh.
Like you wouldn't have two,
I'm
you
just
know.
sitting there going, wow, Tom, you know some really great folks.
But also, that immediately told me this guy's not the werewolf. No way.
We also have Jan,
Yeah.
who is
Michael
Michael Gambon, and
Yeah.
he is a concert pianist, I believe,
Yep.
who is prone to sicknesses or something. Oh, that's not a telltale.
mysterious sickness.
Yeah, and occasionally people end up gutted around him while he's on tour. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. I believe
Name me a
Gambon
concert
says shit
pianist that
happens
doesn't have a bunch of, ripped apart bodies in their
everywhere they
wake.
go. Yeah. They really should stop having piano concerts. It's too much of a danger.
They really
to the
should.
public.
It's just a public hazard. His girlfriend, Davina,
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't think she
Well,
has
I
any
thought
She was
backstory.
the concert pianist. Is she not the concert pianist?
Well, he's playing piano later. I thought.
Yeah,
he
I
Oh,
was
think
that's
it's
just
true,
him.
that's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
but
just
she
his
is
girlfriend.
like the college roommate of Tom's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like friends.
They're like friends, and Carolyn is his wife.
Well, this is I
And-
think this is the indication when we're talking about having read what the story is and then the adaptation. They clearly kept all the characters the same. It's just this all made more sense when they were all just people who knew each other and they weren't looking for a werewolf.
I know.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
Because it's
Carolyn doesn't have any ripped apart bodies in her past, but what drives me nuts about this story, there's so many holes, but you sit there going, well, they're married. Must not be too close of a marriage because she's as surprised as about all this. I mean, didn't she know about cameras in the trees of her own estate? Doesn't she know what's in that control room?
yeah.
And she's like, why are
room full of
you
guns.
bugging my friends?
This guy just has machine guns at the ready.
Yeah.
No, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you can get those.
And that's and then of course we have Dr. Christopher Lundgren, who's our buddy Mr. Cushing, who is doing because Lundgren, what is that? Swedish?
I think, yeah, because Dolph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dolph Lundgren's Swedish, right?
Yeah.
The only other Lundgren I know.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's Peter Cushing doing an okay. It shows up here and there,
Yeah.
and you're like,
But
okay.
where
doing
was
a
this when
Swedish
he was
accent.
playing Van Helsing?
That's true.
Never
But
tried
Van
to
Helsing
do that.
was Dutch.
Yeah, but he
Totally
didn't.
different.
But I'm saying, but he didn't try to do that accent.
No,
Here,
he
though, he
didn't.
goes, "I'm going to try Swedish and see what happens."
You know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And he's only here because he doesn't know these people, but he's Tom's resident I know everything about werewolves guy.
Yeah, he
yeah,
is.
and he says
Van
some
Helsing, basically.
stuff.
He says some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
This
he says
movie-
he says a bunch of garbage that's not true.
Oh
This
my God.
movie really, because it is true of vampire movies all the time. You take little bits that you want from the folklore.
Yeah.
You make up the rules. Most of the time, the werewolf movies kind of stay on a track. This one's like going, we're introducing some concepts.
I
Okay.
you know what I love is it feels like the screenplay was like, well, we're the grounded werewolf movie. We're the ones who are really going to base it in science.
Yeah, silver, sure. But it's only silver. It will only kill him if there's wolfbane and bloom. You're like, what the fuck are you on?
We'll get to it, but him having the plant with the card that says Wolfbane purely for the
It has
audience's.
a scientific name, and then
Yeah.
in parentheses, wolfbane, because the audience is going, I don't know what that means. Alkaflakamakan? I don't know what that is. It's wolfbane. Thank you, movie. Thank you.
Thank you, movie. Our pal.
Thank you, movie.
Yeah.
I talk back to movies a lot. When
Thank
they
you,
give me
film.
exposition I need.
Yeah, and when they
Oh,
don't,
that's her
I go,
brother? Thank you, movie.
thank you. Explain, movie.
Well,
Explain.
This movie has.
I'm going to hit pause so you can tell me what's going on.
This movie has a lot of exposition, and yet, as we're talking about, so much of it still doesn't make sense, which I love.
Yeah.
I just love the loopiness of these kind of movies. You're just going like, man, you've thought out so much, and also not thought about other things.
Yep.
So yeah, this is where he goes. This is where he does finally say, yes, and one of you is a werewolf.
Oh.
And
Another thing
I will say
I
their
love about this
reaction is not concerned enough that this guy has
This
said that.
is what I was about to get to. I love the fact that this movie, no one really just goes, that's bullshit. You do have one character that later in the game goes, I don't believe in werewolves. But really, like you're saying, John, they hear this and they're like, well, that's nuts. I'm not a werewolf.
That's the
Instead
thing.
of going,
they're
that's nuts, and you're insane because there are no such things
that's
as
it.
werewolves.
That's the key. It is that they are taken aback by his thought that they might be werewolves,
Right.
Not that they're
But
just
not that
are
werewolves
werewolves. That's a fact. We know that.
Yeah, like, right? Like, one of them is. The movie does not lie. One of these people is a werewolf.
It's true.
I was waiting for this movie to do that terrible twist because we got fooled by a movie just a couple weeks ago. And we're like, what?
There was
wolf
no
in that
werewolf
werewolf
in a movie we watched, and we were really pissed about it.
That's
yeah.
We
horrid.
watched a whole movie, and the twist was it's not a werewolf.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Scream of the Wolf. Don't put it on your list.
Ugh, I won't.
No.
Unless you're a huge Peter Graves fan.
Elliott's just a Peter Graves completist. No, I think
No.
response,
is about
Elliot's
right
just,
for Peter
yeah,
Graves.
okay.
I mean, never had anything against the guy, but I don't think I ever sought out
I
anything
don't
because
need
he
to
was in it.
I don't need to do a filmography thing for him.
No, you do not.
No,
But
no.
you do need to watch some Mission Impossible.
He was the Tom Cruise of his day.
He really was.
There was something funny about.
I prefer the Saint myself.
Ooh, Simon Templar.
Now we're talking Roger
Man,
Moore.
They've never done him
Yeah.
right.
No.
Well,
Sorry, I go all the way back to the novels. That's me.
yeah, but
purist.
come on, Roger Moore though.
But I do love.
I
him.
love
I love Val Kilmer, but I don't love that. movie.
The movie's pretty bad, but I just love the fucking show. Sorry, getting off on a brief tangent.
This
I
is
just
what we
love
do.
The show is
the
nothing but
intros of every episode
I know.
where he's just somewhere
I know.
chilling and someone's like, that's Simon
Simon
Templar.
Templar.
And then
The
that
Saint.
that horrible special effect.
And then he
Oh,
just looks
just
up at. Then he looks up at the halo. Like, yeah, that's my halo.
so good. So
Oh, I
good.
love
Because
it too.
only somebody with the charm of a Roger Moore can sell that moment.
Oh yeah.
I love that man.
So great.
But everyone's like, yeah, and they're either like not concerned enough, or his wife is just like, Tom, stop joking around. It's
Enough
like,
about
like,
the werewolves,
with him.
He
Tom.
rolls with it. Someone's like,
I love the idea
oh,
that
you're embarrassing me in front of my
Yeah.
friends with your
The idea-
werewolf talk.
the idea that it's just like, oh, my stupid husband and his werewolves. God, always
we
with
go
the
again.
werewolves.
Ugh, if he,
He
didn't
did
have
this
so
at
much money,
Thanksgiving with my family too.
You should see how many
He kept
guns
talking
he
about
has.
my uncle was probably a werewolf.
And she, once again,
And
she's
he
not.
hunted him on the grounds. of
That's
the
another
estate.
thing. She's not concerned about. He's talking about werewolves. He's armed to the teeth. Like he's installed cameras and microphones everywhere. At no
I love
point
it.
during
ostensibly
any
gonna
of
commit
this.
murder.
Yeah. At no point of any
I
of this
love
is
it
she like.
later on. Is it Bennington? No, it would be what's his name? The guy. Why am I blanking?
Jan?
I should look at the IMDb. Yeah.
Jan?
No, not Jan. Pavel. When he's
Pavel.
loading up the rifle and or maybe it's Cushing, but he goes, Silver.
Yeah.
And he goes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that guy is rich.
Uh,
Because especially when he's machine gunning silver bullets, which I did love.
that's
I was
one of my
going,
favorite parts.
That's
of
$100. That's $100. That's $100.
I also just like the idea of I'm an expert hunter.
He is not a very. He is
Let me
not
get
a
on a
very-
helicopter and just blast away at the ground.
He is missing some very obvious shots.
No, I think my favorite
because
is when they go. Silver Bully's like, I have something even better than that, and he grabs a silver gun.
Yeah.
Yes, that's even better. The whole gun is silver.
the whole gun's silver. I'm gonna get him one way or another.
Okay, I'm out of bullets, but if I throw this just
Yeah.
right, boom, dead werewolf.
But if you just pistol whip him enough,
That really made me
Pistol
laugh.
whipped him. Werewolf.
That
to
line,
death.
and then the just like silver gun.
That's a first in horror movies.
Yeah,
I just watched him beat a werewolf to death with a silver gun.
yeah.
It took him like 5 minutes. Why
That would-
won't you die?
I would love that actually.
Yeah.
It would
that
be
would go down
interesting.
so smooth.
Come on.
But I think they would have the werewolf making like sad dog whimpering noises.
Oh,
I'm not into
probably.
this scene anymore.
No, that would be
That's
sad.
fair.
I didn't like.
Oh, we should put a trigger warning at the front of this episode.
I didn't like when that died.
There is dog violence in this film.
As you know,
Made me sad.
yeah, as you know, Brendan, I am the most bloodthirsty audience member.
Yeah.
But anybody harms an animal in one of these things, and I am
Yeah.
very upset. People,
Yeah.
fuck them. Let them all die. I hope they die in the worst ways in these movies.
What's weird
But
is it
anyone
wasn't
hurts a
the
dog or
violence
anything, I'm like,
against
oh.
the animals in this film that upset you. It was the fact that they had put that fur vest on a dog. That is
That's
abuse.
cruelty. Well, I did think
That
when
dog
they were.
did not ask to wear a fur
I did
vest.
think when the two dogs were fighting, I don't like whatever this was on set that led to this.
Yeah.
It looked a
that
little
was
really
probably like, this is the 70s and a
This
company
looks
that's
a little real.
not like has an amazing history, so this is probably bad.
I was getting strong Benji the Hunted vibes off. Benji the Hunted, ladies and gentlemen. Except for I think that was 1980, and no animals were harmed
That
during
was
the
that
making
was
of
the
Benji the
80s,
Hunted.
yeah. Benji the Hunted. So yes, he's accused everyone of being a werewolf, and it's Paul Foot,
All foot.
who just fucking
Paul
books
Foot.
it. He's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm gone, man." And
Yep.
books it out of there. And then, yes, the previously mentioned extremely boring. I hesitate to call it a car chase.
No, this isn't
No, yeah.
Paul Foot. This
I was
is
gonna say,
Jan.
This is
Jan
Jan.
was
This is
the
Michael
guy who-
Gambon.
I will say I confused them for a little while. Not that they looked alike,
That's
but
okay.
just once again the movie did a poor job of setting everyone up.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
immediately
So, yeah.
in a car.
Gambon
He's
is out
in
of
a-
here.
like a BMW, and then he's out, except for he gets chased down slowly.
Slowly.
Bye.
Like I said, it's not even a chase; it's like a light pursuit.
Yeah, and it goes on for way too long.
Yeah, way too long. The unifying thing this season on the show of movies of the 70s, terrible pacing problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we've watched a single movie this season that hasn't had bad pacing in places, at least.
It really. We're judging it from a modern perspective.
We are, but
again,
there
as
is
I always
stuff like
bring up,
this, though. Like
but then
this.
again, even as a kid watching these in the 70s, and TV shows, even it was a thing where even as a kid I was like, well, I sure would like for this to be over. I mean, even watching something like Chips, I'd be like, can they get the criminal now?
Well, that's something I always talk about with those old shows, the 70s, particularly into the 80s. The opening title sequences of those shows promised levels of action the show would never deliver upon.
Because they're chopping it up, and you're just seeing like a quick shot of like the car jumps the hill, and then it comes down, and a hubcap comes off, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then you realize that was 4 seconds they took out of a 5-minute scene.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god.
Yeah, it's like Knight Rider, the car did one jump and then they put all the jumps from last season in the opening titles. And you're going to get the car doing one cool thing.
I think they did the same thing with the Duke Boys.
Oh, them
like,
Duke Boys.
Let's do that over and over. Let's use that same shot of them jumping the bridge over and over.
Well, them Duke Boys sure were in trouble. And that's because somebody realized they had the goddamn Confederate flag on their car. They are in big trouble.
Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will.
Christ.
Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. I'm old, Elliot. I guess the point is I'm very old.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. I might as well be based on some of the stuff I know. Reference.
Join me on this side, John.
Brendan and I's friendship is basically based on me knowing things I shouldn't know about for being my age.
You really do know way too much of the things that I know because you are far too young to have watched the same shows.
You've got some pretty good skills in that category, too.
Well, I can talk about things from the 20s and 30s. I can talk about things long before I was born. But, we're nerds. Let's just accept it and move
on. So anyway, he chases him down, pulls a piece on him.
Yep, and he's like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, we know this is a werewolf movie, so there's going to be a werewolf. But shouldn't everyone here be like, okay, so our friend Tom has lost his mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that should be what the characters are doing in scenes we don't ever just get these characters talk. We get a couple characters talking, but they're more like, werewolves, am I right? Nobody's like, we need to find a way out of here because he has kidnapped us.
The original working title of this film was Werewolves, am I right?
Am I right?
But they do, like, all the stuff that we see, because they're trying to build. Like, I appreciate they try to build, and they let Tom get nuttier and nuttier. Yeah. But it seems likely, like the thing he does later by pulling the distributor caps or something, he pulls the spark plugs out of all the cars.
Something like
Doesn't
that.
it seem like he would do that now?
Yeah, he does that much later.
Yeah,
he does that days into this.
Yeah, it seems like these people would all be immediately like, well, if you're walking around with rifles all the time and talking about killing one of us because we might be a werewolf,
well, and
I'm done.
As soon as Jan comes back and is like, yeah, you chased me down and put a gun to my head, it'd be like, oh boy.
Yep, we're done.
Yeah.
It's
but it seems that everyone becomes instantly more interested in disproving that werewolves even exist.
Yeah.
/ disproving that they are not the werewolf. It's oh, I know how to fix this situation. We'll just prove that we're not werewolves.
Yeah.
Like the whole,
and that will fix everything.
I think that's
and then we
pretty
can just
soon
go back to having a nice time.
Yeah.
It's like, look, there's a pool.
Well, because we get the next scene is this dinner table scene, which ends up with this, like, once they all touch the silver candlestick, it's like, it's all right. See, Tom, can we drop the werewolf shit now?
Past this made up bullshit of like, well, if a werewolf touches silver, it'll just kill him. It doesn't even have to be like a bullet going through their heart.
No, which makes killing a werewolf super easy. Why is
this becomes something for the audience going, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
Who seems most reluctant to touch that candle?
Do you think people in the theater were like, I should have brought my notebook? God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, did you see the posters? You're supposed to solve it.
I didn't know it was this kind of movie. Oh, Jesus.
I bet they had scorecards just like in Clue or something.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
I noticed that look he gave him.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is only a half click off of something like Clue, which just owns what it is. This movie is only slightly more serious than that. It's just a little bit more sincere.
Clue. Oh, man.
Can we put that? Is it too late for me to get a poll quote on this movie? On whatever the next Blu-ray release is? It just says slightly more serious than Clue. John Campbell.
Could have used Tim Curry, but then again, most films could.
Oh, God, he's another actor who could have slipped in here with no issue at all. He would have been great.
Young Tim Curry at the height of his just like weird sexiness, he would have rocked this thing.
It's true.
He could have been like they have painters, and he could have been a rock star. He could have shown up as like the token rock star. That would have been awesome. All right, I'm rewriting it.
All right, that's it.
This movie probably could be remade, but you'd have to make it much smarter.
Brandon,
I mean,
spent way too much of today outlining what that might look like.
Oh, we're all thinking the same thing. What about you, Elliot? You working on your?
Well, I mean, it could so easily be the fucking next in the, well, not in the same series, but like this could easily be a fucking Knives Out situation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, because as we've all said up at the top of the thing is like the concept's pretty great.
Yeah.
Instead of it being one of you in this room is a murderer, one of you in this room is a fucking werewolf, it's pretty great. And I don't think they've ever returned to that kind of a concept. Though with most horror movies that involve a group of people, at some point it's like, well, who's doing it? Who's knocking people off? But usually not with a supernatural.
I just love the idea of Daniel Craig being like, now one of y'all is a werewolf. Yeah,
I'm going to need each one of you to put this candlestick in your mouth. What about bullets? No, the candlestick.
The candlestick.
You know, like it's a chew toy, some sort of doggy bone. I want to see that happen.
Well, nobody died when they touched the candlestick.
Yeah.
It makes no damn sense.
Makes no
Compels
damn
me though.
He's just out on the back porch.
Luckily, I have this plant. It's called the alcacamala, or better known as wolfbane.
Wolfsbane.
We didn't get that in here.
I did spend way too much time coming up with the remake earlier today.
I love that you did that.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing.
I might have been picturing Idris Elba in our leading role here too.
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah.
One of the biggest holes which you need to fix is late in the movie when they know the werewolf is on the loose and they have cameras in everyone's room. Yeah, they could have just looked at the cameras to see who's not there.
It's so they build the cameras up so much and then just so spectacularly fail.
At that point, if you're like going asleep, missing. Yeah. Now we know. Instead, he runs after the werewolf.
Another one of my favorite lines in the movie is when Pavel goes, "Do you want me to watch them in the bedrooms?" And he just goes, "I'm no voyeur."
And he does it with kind of a smirk like, "I'm no voyeur." Though we've just spent literally days watching them.
Every interaction he has, he'll have a dinner table scene, and then he just runs in and goes, "All right, let's see what they do now. Let's see here." And everything is just like,
I do like the part where, you know,
I've seated them a little bit more. Let's see what happens.
Tom's a nut. And then Pavel tries to make it feel better, like, you know, people who eavesdrop, they don't often hear good things about themselves. And he goes, "I don't fucking care. I'm after a goddamn werewolf.
One of these fuckers is a werewolf, and I'm gonna find him and kill him."
You think they can hurt my feelings? I'm past feelings now.
You're a complicated character. You're complicated.
I just love this guy where he's just like, someone's a werewolf, and I need to deal with it.
They can say whatever the fuck they want about me. Yeah. Don't give a shit. So long as I get a werewolf head on my wall, that's all I want.
I mean, that is sort of the thing. It seems like because he talks about, I'm going to hunt a werewolf. It's not altruistic or heroic like someone needs to stop the killing. It's more like, ooh, a new thing to hunt. Never done that before.
The most dangerous game.
Yeah. Which,
you ever see the TV movie Sound of Thunder? I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Where it's like the big game hunter who goes to take down a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's a Ray Bradbury short story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a absolutely atrocious movie of it with Ed Burns. You remember that? Is it Ben Kingsley? I think it's somebody who should know better.
That's the one you're talking about.
No, there was one. There was a TV movie in the '70s with Richard Boone, who was also TV Paladin.
Yeah.
And
Richard Boone, voice of Smaug in the Rankin Bass 1977 Hobbit movie.
Elliott, boom.
See, Elliott.
Elliott
can play with the old timey references too.
I can.
There's a reason that they are our first guest.
I'm now. There's a new list. It's the Elliott is cool list, and that went right to the top.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We do. I mean, we do kind of quietly play a game on the show of who can pull the most obscure reference. So that
I will say this: it is never a conscious thing for me.
No,
so if I ever
this is just how you and I
it's
talk,
always just
yeah.
like, oh no, I'm sorry, that literally just.
no,
came
I'm
out
not
of my
sitting
head.
here trying to come up with it either. That's what I'm saying.
you
The
are.
game. Yeah, you're right.
John is.
I do a bunch of
He's got little
research
cards
beforehand.
off to the side. It's like my mother the car. If I can get in a my mother the car reference, I am gold.
Let's see. We just need to get to. I just need to. That's the
We just
reaction.
discovered
That's
Elliott
the
also
reaction.
Snorter.
That's the reaction my mother the car should have. Honestly, that is a snorter of a title.
Jerry Van Dyke's finest hour.
I know.
All right,
I just am always trying to get the show onto Jerry Van Dyke.
That would be great. The Jerry Van Dyke podcast.
The better Van Dyke.
The
No.
Jerry Van Dyke Show.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Let's see. So everyone survives the silver being passed around,
Yes.
and then this is just like, well, so how does that answer? And then it's like, Professor. Basically, everything is like, why would this happen?
I happen to have a plate of bullshit. I'd like to serve you
That's
now.
the end of the whole movie.
The whole thing. He just says a bunch of garbage.
The whole movie is like something happens, and they go like, well, that's not what we expected. Peter Cushing, explanations, please. Well, you
and he's
see.
just like, I
Yes.
don't know.
It's like, well, yeah, silver is bad, but it doesn't really harm them seriously unless there's also wolfbane pollen in the air, and it only blooms in the autumn.
He had to
You're
be.
like,
He had to be showing up to set,
Talking-
right? Cushing showing up to set, going like, "What horse shit do they have me saying today?"
He was too much a gentleman to probably say that out loud, but you
Yeah.
know it was in his head.
Absolutely.
No.
No, instead he
Instead
was
he's like,
busy sending
"Ser-
people flowers and telling them. I'm sure he was like, you're doing a great job on the picture."
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
he loved people.
I
but-
think this will be a fine film.
Yes.
I have to take a
Yes.
call from America. It's a gentleman named
And
Lucas.
by the
Guess what it is? Hello?
a space
what's a moth?
picture.
Why is
What's
it grand?
Yeah.
Why is it grand?
That is actually listening to the Star Wars history book. That is kind of his thing. Was he did like the idea that he was a grand moth. Well,
Yeah.
all right then.
You minor moths, clear out.
So I'm
Or I
sort
am
of the leader of the whole thing. Great, I'll do it. Like that. That seemed to be his main sticking point. Was like, I'm running the show. Perfect.
Excellent.
Who else?
Listen up, fives. A 10 is talking.
And he did wake up for that one. God
He's
bless him.
so good in Star Wars.
Princess Leia, charming to the last. Oh God, do I
good.
had that action figure. Moving on.
Yeah.
So
They're
all
This is also where he's talking about the whole thing about, well, the werewolf disease is it makes a person powerless to the thirst for human flesh, and it is always fatal. In the end, it will claim your life. What is that? That's brand new to werewolf
totally made
mythology.
up bullshit. In fact, it goes almost counter to the general understood thing. We know this from Lon Chaney Jr. is that if you've got the curse of the werewolf, you can't die. You're immortal like a vampire. You're just going to keep killing until someone finally
That's
puts
actually
you
one of the
down.
coolest things in the Universal movies is him waking up at the beginning of each movie after having supposedly died in the last one, is going, I'm
He's like,
still
"No,
alive.
no."
Oh no! Which that was
And
once
then
again just
You
on
hear
set
the
footage.
clink of the bottles underneath the prop bed or whatever.
The never-ending. We will always find a way to bring up Lon Chaney Jr.'s alcoholism.
Yeah, yeah.
The man
Hey.
just tore through bars. I mean, let's be honest. He just it was a different time.
There's actually still a roadside attraction in Los Angeles County, which is they collected all of the bottles he had emptied, and they created this enormous tower. I don't know if you've ever been there. They call it the Cheney Tower, and it's just when the sun hits it, it actually burns. It just goes. It's wiped out entire acres. He drank a lot.
That's what we're saying.
Shit.
Yeah, it's
I have
kind
a
of
T-shirt from Cheney Tower. It's great.
It's kind of why he works so well as like a man at the end of his rope, distraught over his actions as the Wolfman.
As
right?
much
Like,
as we mock his general abilities, which are not great,
Not
and
a good
especially just physically and his face,
I mean,
is just
I mean,
why
his,
is he elite
his
in anything?
Dracula performance was the most
Oh,
upsetting.
oh,
Yeah,
Son of Dracula. But one thing we will always credit him at when he's playing desperate and haunted.
Yeah,
Really which
good.
Of course, being the Wolfman, it's real because you can see that guy like, I know what it's like to live with like a demon in you, and just like wake up going, "Who did I kill?" And you're like, "Oh, good,
buddy.
Yeah.
buddy."
Yeah, no, don't worry. He's long.
I mean, he is long dead.
Elliot, he can't hurt you. He can't hurt you.
It's just sad to think about.
Yeah,
No, it is.
It is.
But then again, name me an actor, a great actor of the golden age that wasn't a complete
They were all
alcoholic.
pretty tragic too, like across the board.
Yeah.
You're either dealing with a closeted homosexual or a pill prom or anything like that. Yeah, boy, it was a tough time.
The studio system gave us some great things, but also they were covering up so many people's truths.
Yeah. I was about to say, golden age of studios. Am I right?
Yeah, boy, if they'd only bring that back, right?
Yeah, boy.
Studio fixers to clean up everything.
Man, Judy Garland sure had a great time.
O.J. Simpson would still be making movies today if the studio system was on.
It's true.
Hey, thing with your wife, don't worry about it. It's all gonna go away.
Yeah.
We just need you to be in Naked Gun 4.
Yeah. I think it's the O.J. trial that ended that franchise. Right? No. They would have made so many more Naked Guns if not for the O.J.
They really
murder.
would have.
Okay,
that got dark. Moving on.
So anyway, as we said, it's. I do love the two women at the table being like, "Well, all this talk of werewolves, I can't eat now." I'm like, he didn't say anything particularly gross or graphic.
Well, he got back on the whole thing about, they can't resist the taste of human flesh.
Yeah,
and then you're
human
like,
flesh.
Maybe, but that's the same thing he was talking about just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? Ugh. And of course, he has made a point about serving as dinner these plates of like quasi raw steak or something, and they're like, I can't eat after that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so then this is after the Wolfsbane thing is when immediately Tom goes outside and is like, I happen to have some Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
I anticipated that, Peter Cushing. I was ready for this.
Ordered it, and it's all.
This is also an interesting point in the movie where right about here is where somebody throws an axe at him.
What is the movie's trying to keep the guessing game going? So it's like, maybe one of them's a werewolf, or maybe just one of them wants Tom out of their hair, so someone's trying to kill him.
Yeah. Are we supposed to believe this is the werewolf doing this to shut him up?
Later on, we find out that Paul is the one who, at least shot the arrow at him. So retroactively, you're like,
as just a goof.
Has Paul just been occasionally trying to kill Tom throughout the movie?
Here's
an axe.
There is nothing I love more than shooting an arrow at someone and then playing it off as a little goof.
Like, the whole thing with
I was just joshing. Oh yeah, what is that?
Fork around the throat. I'm like, what the hell? They never explained it, by the way. I mean, we can retroactively assume Paul was doing it the whole time, but why?
No,
because
I think
as we later find out,
it's just them realizing that nothing's happening, and so they're like, we just need a little bit of thrill.
I think
that's
it. They just need to juice it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing I was about to say is, and so after the dinner scene, this is where the movie starts to meander. Until we get to the climax, finally.
Until we get to the werewolf showing up.
Yeah.
Well, because especially after this, you would think people would just be like, "No, I am leaving. Like, why are you staying the night? This guy is a maniac." Like, we end up knowing he's right once again. But if I would just be like, "We are not safe here."
But God, at what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost? Does Pavel die before or after he goes and empties out the cars and basically traps everybody there?
Let's see.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Someone throws an axe.
Because again, it's part of them making Tom escalate and get like, I was right, and no one's leaving, and I'm gonna kill that werewolf.
Oh well, no, it did. Like, well, because like I said, it meanders. Because like, this is the whole thing about like, wait a minute, where are those two? Oh, never mind. They're walking outside. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
You're getting like, man, was that supposed to be like a fake out thrill in the movie where you're like, no, never mind. Nothing.
We do keep cutting back to Pavel and the monitors,
Mm-hmm.
and Tom going, "Oh, yep, listening in and up. Where's that person now on DDD?" And then we finally do get werewolf has been spotted on monitors. We can't see him.
Just before we
we're
get to that,
tracking
though,
him.
I want to bring up one scene because it's a lot of meandering. I have like Peter Cushing.
It's just you. This is all you, John.
This is why I write down. This is why I write down everything that happens in the movie. But I'm saying, like, we can skip over a lot of this stuff because it's like people, they hear howling. Peter Cushing and Charles Gray play chess. You know, it's stuff like that. But it's
that was a nail biter. That was a nail biter.
The fake out scene where Paul goes, he's like, "That's it, I'm going to bed, everyone."
Right.
And then he looks at his hairy hand and almost shaves it.
Well,
and he pulls out the straight razor, like, should I? That scene.
That would be more suspicious. Probably.
This movie has some of the weirdest red herrings I've ever seen.
Well, they bring up, is it at dinner or whatever? They're like, "Geez, you got hairy hands," and he's like, going, "Yeah," and then they're like, "Damn, I wish I had paid attention. I can't tell if they're more hairy now."
That is one of the best dialogue exchanges in the movie.
And then when they're looking at the the camera footage of him going to his bedroom, and we don't get in Paul's head. We don't know why Paul, who is not being observed that he knows, is stopped when he's opening the door and now noticing his own hairy fucking hand.
God, I didn't even know they were this hairy.
Wait, am I?
Wow, that is fucking hairy, isn't it?
Well, that is a good...
And then he goes in his room.
That is a good question. The werewolf knows he's a werewolf, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that could just be Paul really is like, shit, I never really noticed till now that I really got fucking hairy hair.
Oh, God. And then
I'm not gonna
the
notice it
instant
till I
urge
got
to
my
be like,
hands
I
on
better
the
get rid
doorknob.
of this hair. I don't like... Well, you know
Are my hands too hairy?
Are they too hairy?
I'm suddenly very self-conscious about
I will
my
never
hairy
be
hands.
loved. I will die alone with my
I'm
hairy hands.
a monster.
I'm a monster.
Well, he doesn't have to go through his whole life being lonely because he does, in fact, get murdered.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of these people don't live
Spoiler
long.
alert. But yes, but first he goes and basically drugs himself to sleep, but it does make him look very suspicious when we finally get a werewolf murder, and everyone else runs out going, what's going on? They're like, hey, where's Paul?
Where's Paul?
Yeah,
Sleeping
exactly.
in.
I was fucking asleep.
Yeah.
I love that everyone goes in that bedroom too. Everyone's in the bedroom and he's under the covers and like, hey, Paul, get up. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, I like, how did he sleep through that? Well, here's the answer right here. Sleeping pills.
Sleeping pills.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
He even has some still caught in the hair.
So,
on
yeah.
his hand.
On his hand.
It's like a thicket. I'm sorry, I was born like this. Damn.
So they get an activity alert on their board, their light up board of the grounds. And yes, this is when he's identifying it via the computer. Pavel's like, it's a large four-legged animal. And this is when Tom puts on his sweet leather coat and loads up his machine gun. And he's like, all right, time to go.
I'm out.
It's go time.
Time to go.
Prep the chopper.
This is another thing I love. The chopper is this big plot hole too. Basically, he's kept an eye on everybody. But where's this chopper pilot sleeping? He never gets a name. Where is he in the barn?
I love that this guy is such a crazy...
werewolf?
This guy is so crazy and rich that he has a pilot who lives on ground and is on call 24/7. Should he need to take to the air?
Even if it's literally 2 p.m. in the afternoon and they're pretending that it's midnight.
Yeah, I was about to say, we got some good day for night shots in
Here's the thing.
And if you're in a helicopter and you're Mr. Hunter guy, if it's actually nighttime, good luck, man. What do you got? Searchlights in that thing? No. See, I can't tell.
This movie has one of my favorite pieces of trivia from anything we've done, which is
the werewolf was played by Chipper, the dog.
I do actually like the note about how the dog that dies in the movie. It makes a point on IMDb of saying the dog went on to live a long and happy life, actually. So don't worry, people.
Okay.
It is the note about these movies always, we've talked about how many day for night things on this. This movie, though, because of the filters they usually use on Amicus films, which always had all white casts, completely blocked Calvin Lockhart out. His face disappeared. They had to make new day for night filters because they were not ready to film a black person with them. That is one of my favorite. They're like, hold on, we can't see him at all.
We have to innovate film really quick.
In a weird way, that's progressive.
It is.
In a way, it's totally regressive because day for night has always been shit.
Yeah.
So stop doing day for night. Never convincing.
Never worked ever in
Look how
anything.
blue it is out here. How convenient. There's that black werewolf because he's wearing his fur vest.
Yeah.
Bang bang.
Yeah.
Or digga as it.
I was not ready for him to open up with automatic weapons. That's not what I thought he was going to do.
I know this is it's an enjoyably bad movie, but I was sitting there going, I do love a machine gun full of silver bullets. And now I want to see some sort of like Day of the Dead thing, but it's werewolves and someone is literally just laying waste to a whole pack of werewolves with a machine gun. That's free gold. I'm giving that story to you guys. You guys run with it, okay?
Lights this place up, man.
He does,
like
and it's a terrible shot.
I love the moment when they're like, he's gone to the barn, and then we see the barn just torn apart by bullets.
Yeah, but I love the way Tom is so like smug about it. He's like, I've got him now. As if the werewolf couldn't find a way out of it. He's like, no, he's trapped in there. Lighten him up.
Yeah, I just like the fool. He went to the barn.
Cut to the werewolf, and the werewolf is just like hiding in some hay.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the one thing this movie needed is the werewolf dodging the bullets. I would have loved seeing the wolf running and the bullets hitting all around it.
Oh, another thing it needs is a werewolf, and not
that would
have
helped. That would have helped too. Instead of someone's dog.
And you're like, wow, I'm sorry, I am shaking in my boots.
It is just a dog.
Bacon for the werewolf. Here's a little bacon for the werewolf.
But while Tom is doing all of this, wasting everyone's time, the wolf gets back to the estate, and this is where Pavel has grabbed the silver gun.
Right.
And he sees.
When Tom left, we should say, when Tom left, he did say, Pavel, you need to. Because the werewolf gets tracked going back to the house.
Right.
And so Tom's like, hey, Pavel, you should probably take cover or lock yourself in or do a thing. He's like, don't worry about me.
And he says, whatever you do, get something silver. I did write that.
And he goes, I'll do better than that. But he also says, I don't believe in werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he looks up. Then he looks up out of the skylight in this room, and he's like, oh, there's a dog up there. He does react. He does react like it is just a dog up there. He's like, that's weird.
Who let a dog on the ceiling or on the roof?
Dogs are not actors, so it is a dog in a fur vest, and it's just looking down like.
I do want to talk about. Hey, wolves! Do you want to come pet me?
And they are being predatory and aggressive. They've got the snarl. They have the fangs.
Yeah.
Their brows knit. This thing is just tongue lolling. It's just, hey,
this movie doesn't even do the normal cheap thing of using like stock footage of an actual wolf or something like that. You might expect that. We've seen that before. Nope.
It's not even the boy who cried werewolf's snout makeup.
No, but unfortunately, this wolf leaps through the skylight and kills Pavel.
You said unfortunately. I was happy.
Well,
because I was finally getting some werewolf murdering.
Yeah, it's all implied though, because basically it's just Tom comes back. He's like, Pavel. Oh no! It's a classic horror movie thing.
The eye was torn out. I don't know why the werewolf decided to focus on an eye.
I've never tried an eye before.
He's like, you know what? That's a nice aperitif. I'm going for the eye. It's funny that he talked about what all these people that had died and they were gutted and eviscerated, which is what you want a werewolf to do. People always. Werewolf murders in movies, John and I've talked about this.
A lot. We've talked about this.
They're described as being disembowelings, and then you just see people like, oh, I have a scar on my neck. I'm like, dude,
I don't think it's till
claws and fangs.
I don't think it's till next season.
Viscera everywhere.
When we get to the 80s, I think we're going to see some more disembowelings. And the 80s,
what I want.
Ren, we have so many Howling movies to do next season.
Yeah, you do.
We have like 6 Howling movies to watch.
My sister's a werewolf.
With our beloved Christopher Lee in that one.
Can't wait for the marsupials.
Yep.
This is going to be hard. Have you watched all those, Elliott?
I watched the first two, and
Yeah.
then there's like the I watched like 2 internet movie reviewers, and one of them has done all the Howling movies, and so I've watched her reviews of them, and I'm just like, wowzers.
This will be interesting for us. when
The
we get
80s next season is a longer season. There's many more monster movies, and there's a lot of werewolf movies. A lot.
there.
of
Yeah,
werewolf
80s
movies.
is werewolf heavy.
It's very
Because
heavy
the
with
makeup
werewolves.
was getting there.
Yeah,
It's
but,
true.
but light on Frankenstein's. 70s very
Oh.
heavy on Frankenstein's. Yeah,
Interesting.
To everything there is a season, John.
true.
It's true.
Yeah,
And then
Fra-
90s, we get back into Dracula. Interesting.
we do get back into Dracula.
Dracula should be ever present, evergreen.
This is true.
Dracula's the best. Hashtag
Dracula's eternal.
Dracula's the best.
Brendan is a diehard Dracula fan. We've established this many times. on the
He's my
show.
boy. He's my boy.
Yeah,
I'm
Boy,
sorry.
Dracula. My boy
So-
Vlad.
he finds him dead, but then immediately they're like, well, we've managed to account for everyone, though. That's where the
I
thing with the
love
sleeping
the
pills.
fact that they never address it. There's like Tom goes, "Oh, no, he's fine. Pavel's fine." He just locks the door of that room.
Well,
No
I
one
did-
ever
they,
reacted
they do
to
the
that
classic
Pavel.
thing where he's like, Pavel, and he sees him from behind sitting in the chair going like, oh, Pavel, there you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then turns the
"Hey,
chair
Pavel."
around and he's all like, "Argh." yeah.
Hey, how'd that thing work out for you? Oh, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not
Oh.
good. No. Yeah.
I told you to protect yourself.
I would have loved a needless emotional, like, God damn it, Pavel!
Right?
What did I
I would have loved like
Right?
a crane shot of Tom dropping to his knees and going,
Oh, not Pavel!
But,
and they imply this long, like, standing relationship between Pavel and Tom
Yeah,
that we
but
never
no.
knew.
Well, it would have been nice to imply
Doesn't
any
seem-
relationships.
Doesn't seem that broken up about
This
it.
movie has no interest
He
in a.
literally locked the door.
This movie
It's like,
couldn't care
done.
about relationships. It doesn't even
And I
care
will
about
say
Tom
that
and his
werewolf
wife, really.
That
Nope.
that werewolf fucked that room up.
Yeah.
It
That
did.
werewolf didn't kill a guy. He literally tore out all the equipment. He
Yeah. It was really interested in messing up the machines and stuff, too. Like, and you're never
Yeah.
going to find me again.
Good luck, loser.
Yeah. So even after all of this has happened, it's the next morning, and it was the scene where this is where we meet the good dog that's just following
Yeah,
Tom
the
and
goodest boy.
and he's just like, no, don't follow me, boy. And the dog, no, don't follow me, boy. I said, and then
weird
it's a weird
scene, like,
scene, but then we see the guy pulling the bow on the arrow back, and the dog starts barking. It's a full-on Lassie moment of like, look out, Tom! What's that, boy? I really laughed at that. The dog
Well-
saves him.
It's late in the movie to introduce a character named Timmy who's fallen down a well.
Yeah.
I thought that whole subplot was unnecessary in this thing.
Where'd the child come from? Oh God. Yeah, for some reason this golden retriever, very sweet looking dog, is like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm trying to warn you that artist guy has been taking pot shots.
That
Yeah.
guy with the really hairy hands.
And then
The dog thinks I have hairy
Dog
hands.
is
Oh, no. And if anyone knows from hairy hands, it's a dog. Ah, curses. I guess I do. Ah, I always knew this day
Oh
would
my
come.
God.
So anyway, yeah, and so Tom turns around, he's like, what the hell are you doing? And his response, I had to write down, he goes, and he tries to be in this like playful, he goes, I'm hunting the hunter.
Yeah, it's like, oops, did I almost hit you with my arrow?
But yeah, what the motivation for any of this is, I don't fucking know.
Especially when you start going, wait, so he was the guy who's been trying to kill him?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Like, yeah, is this a piece of a missing subplot? Are there deleted scenes that explain what this guy's doing? Like,
I think it's safe to say we all enjoyed this film, but I love the fact that this thing is just riddled with dumb plot holes. This is
oh, it doesn't
they
make
did
any
not
sense.
think this would be through
No.
at all.
No.
No, it's they just barreled ahead at every turn in this thing.
Because
Yeah.
and this is my theory. And again, I would love if I haven't actually looked up how much it would be, but I would love to get the DVD and hear the director's cut and hear the director commentary. Like,
I'm gonna just ballpark it and say I think you'll get it pretty cheap.
Let me see
It's-
here.
okay, but the
was
thing is, it's
$99 on
either really cheap or weirdly
Yep,
expensive.
that's how it works.
Maybe it's out of now. Yeah, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
Like one person will be
Oh.
selling it on eBay for like $60
Okay,
or some
all right.
shit.
Here
I
we
find
go.
That kind of nonsense. I'm like,
Elliot,
seriously, guys?
You can own it
This
for $14.99.
Oh shit, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad, and you can actually find a used copy for getting more into like the $10 range.
And for $35.99, you can actually call the director himself. at
Yeah,
home.
probably.
Oh my god! Oh, there's a
stuff
lot of
right-
special features on this thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new Blu-ray release of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
John Elliott-
I bet the day for night shots look great in Blu-ray.
I am not saying this to be funny, but I do need to take a werewolf break.
Wow.
Would it be all right?
Yeah. Take a werewolf break.
Thank you. I'll be right back. And by the time I get back, you guys tell me who the werewolf is, all right?
Yeah. So the reason I bring up the like story or whatever, but like
Story or whatever
quotes,
is
scare
basically what
quotes.
they call it, too.
But I would love to hear the director's commentary, because it just sort of feels like we had the beginning, like the thought process was, oh, it'd be
Yeah.
really cool to have this setup, and we know what the ending is going to be, but we still have to write a mystery between there. And that's I mean, that's hard. It's hard. It's not easy to like write a compelling mystery.
No.
And they did a very bad job.
Yeah.
We did.
No, I
They
think
did.
that's exactly it. They were like the elevator pitch or whatever that concept. They're like, that's gold. And they're like, yeah, but we only have 2 weeks to do it. No problem.
Well, what's
Yeah,
so
I know how it
interesting-
ends.
What's so interesting once again is they borrowed this plot from a story that is not a mystery. The
Yeah.
mystery part of it is not it's just a horror story.
They imposed this Agatha Christie-ness on it,
Yeah.
which actually is a great idea, a great concept.
It's
but
such a great
again, they just didn't know
Well,
what
also
to do.
it's I will say this, and even I was thinking this yesterday and today as I was trying to work out a remake of this. It is hard to quietly be a werewolf. Like sneaking around in the shadows as a werewolf is tough.
It's true.
Because you're not going back and forth. If you could just turn to a werewolf and then right back to human, okay, then you could do it.
Well, something this movie didn't address at all, which is another big, glaring thing, is this movie positing that the supernatural transformation takes your clothes with you, and when you die, you go back into your clothes? Or is it something like most werewolf movies is like either your clothes are torn up or you know it's coming, so you undress and then turn into a werewolf?
Or you get the Lon
this
Chaney
movie
thing
just
of
dances around it like they never actually say.
I was gonna say, or you get the Lon Chaney thing of you get the werewolf outfit no matter what you were wearing
Well,
before.
yes. In Lon Chaney's case, it's always like he could be wearing a 3-piece suit, and when he turns to werewolf, he's still wearing that the gas station outfit with the buttoned up.
That just
Oxford
comes
shirt.
with it.
Yeah, the clothes are part of the transformation.
There
You
used to
transform
be-
into a dingy gas station where
There was an 80s Incredible Hulk cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon, and anytime Bruce Banner would turn to the Hulk, they would do the ripping, and there's the purple pants all torn up, and then when he turned back, his clothes would reappear, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
All right, now I'm
Bixby was
angry.
naked, man.
Thanks.
No, he wasn't naked, but he was shirtless at least. On the
No.
show.
I mean, in the movies, but in the TV show,
In the
yeah.
TV show.
No,
He
in this
never lost-
cartoon, literally
never lost
everything
the
would just come
pants.
back. It's magic.
It is.
But yeah, because
it's animation shortcuts.
there's that. But when they come back to, in this case, like when we get another werewolf murder, and then it's all about everyone rushing to the balcony to go, what happened?
Yeah.
And they're all in their night clothes. I'm like, well, there's an indication, because a werewolf would not be able to change back, get in clothes, clean blood off their hands or whatever, and then show up.
I
So whoever's
honestly
not there
think
must be
what
a
I
werewolf.
came around to in my remake is you have to screw with werewolf mythology and make it the ability to change back and forth. It's the only way to make this plot work. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, because once you're a werewolf at night, or a werewolf by night, as Marvel gave us, that eye roll from
Jack
Elliott
Russell.
was totally deserved. But then it should be easy to find them, because who's missing? Because this guy's going to be a werewolf for at least 8 hours. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yes, there is that. But they came up with another bullshit thing in this movie. Yet another one. Their workaround. Remember, they said it's like, well, once he's been sated with human blood or human flesh,
That's
it's like,
it.
then he turns back.
That's right. That's right. So that's how they
it's
made
not
it
like
one
morning
murder.
comes on and now I'm turning back. It's like, well, I've eaten.
Yeah.
Now I'm a guy again.
Or you just do nothing and you don't explain it, like, to a certain extent. Like, you don't know where it doesn't work. I don't know. It's hard. Trying to work out the remake to fix the problems of this movie. There are inherent
John,
problems.
you need to hurry up because Amicus is waiting by the phone.
I know.
Yeah.
I
Why
told
won't
them
John
I'd
Campbell
have it.
call us with his remake
I
idea?
told
for
them
The
I'd
Beast
have it.
Must
That's
Die.
my mistake. I said I could solve this. I came up with cool stuff to add to it, but I still couldn't
Ooh.
fix internal problems. Was sort
You'll
of my
crack
thing.
it, man.
Yeah,
You'll crack
that's.
Don't
I'm
give
working
up.
on it. I'm working on it. So anyway, this is where we see him throw a bunch of car parts in the river, and then
Yes.
come to dinner and just be like, "Oh yeah, let's see, what else is that? Yes, I threw all your what he wrote. I had to listen to it several times. He says I threw the rotary arms from your cars into the river. Now I, believe it or not, am not a mechanic of any sort.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to shock you guys, but
You always
what the hell is
surprise
a
me.
rotary arm? I don't know that.
I don't know. They looked very. I mean, when I said distributor caps, they're much bigger.
Yeah.
So what he was holding looked like maybe spark plugs. 'cause
Spark
they were
plugs is what I
smallish in
thought he
size.
was. Let me Google
But
rotary arm.
Rotary arms? I don't know what
I
that
had
is.
because I kept going. What is he saying? Is it rotary? Because I was watching not the best copy of this movie for free on YouTube.
I was watching it in 4K. It was like I was there.
We were
I
talking
could've
about
reached out and touched.
while you were
Cal.
taking your werewolf break. We did find out that the Blu-ray is a 4K scan from original film negatives.
Yeah.
Rotary
Well,
arms.
whatever
cars.
I
Okay.
was in pretty good
Okay.
shape.
I'm not
Okay.
finding this.
Okay. So I don't know. I know what all these words mean individually, but I'm going to read the. But together, it's nonsense. The rotor arm is the rotating electrical high tension contact of the distributor in a spark ignition engine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you lift off the distributor cap and
Yes.
take out the rotor arm.
Okay. All right. Yes.
I don't think they would look like this though. It feels because just the description of arm. This is like a
It's true. It's
like a
more,
little
it's more of
cylinder.
a capsule plug looking thing.
yeah. But it feels like an arm would be a longer, thinner
But I
thing.
could see that because of what goes into the rotary.
It's such a
distributor
weirdly
cap.
specific car part for him to take out when they could have chosen any more commonly known ones.
He could have just walked around with a bag of sugar and thrown it in the gas tanks of everyone.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, well, because his
You could
point
just
is,
put potatoes in the
I do
exhaust
love
pipe.
his point. He goes, when this is all
Axle
over,
forward.
I
Could
will
have
have,
forward.
yeah, just banana in the tailpipe.
But yeah, so basically he does. He just says, "By the way, you're all stuck here because I did this." And they're
But he
like,
does say,
"Whoa,
as
what?"
soon as I've
He's like,
killed
"Don't
this
worry,
werewolf,
when it's all done."
I will replace those rotary arms. Don't you
Yep.
worry. I'm good for the money. You
Yeah.
all know that.
I don't know if you noticed. I'm kind of loaded. Yeah. So they're all stuck, and at this point, Paul.
Yeah.
Almost
This is
immediately-
also where he goes, just stay one more night. All right? This should just take
Yeah.
one more night, and then we're good.
Wait, no, Paul doesn't run now, right? It's after another murder,
Yes.
I think.
Right. Because this is where he goes, just one more night. Let's try that silver candlestick again.
Oh, we get the candlestick test again. Yes.
When he pulled it out the second time, I was like, no, what? Come on, movie. You talking about meandering. We're just going to, let's just do that werewolf test again.
However, we as the viewers know that they have introduced the wolfsbane pollen into the air. So now the stakes are
if
even higher.
Tom knew enough to have wolfsbane. Why didn't he bring that in the first time? And actually, it doesn't matter because
I don't
everybody
know.
passes the test again this time too.
Yeah.
And
Because
then
we're just playing Calvin Ball, really.
And this is
Yeah.
where we once again turn to Peter Cushing to go, how can this be?
and
Peter
he goes,
Cushing's
well,
like,
you know.
they put something on their hands.
You know.
However,
Yeah, thank
in
you,
that- in the
genius
second-
professor.
In the second test, Jan, our friend Michael Gambon, doesn't hold it. Well, I mean, and I did track that. Because they don't get everybody in that one. He's just sitting over there because he's had a relapse or something, and he's like, he's very ill. He should go to a hospital, and he's just sitting there like in the chair with like a blanket over his legs. But in the second test, he does not actually hold it.
Detective work.
Yeah.
Because you are the detective.
Oh yeah. I used my.
I almost turned the movie off.
I use in all of my detective classes.
I almost turned the movie off when it said "You are the detective." I said, "That's too much pressure for me. I can't. I know. I just want to watch a movie. This is too much to ask."
We're talking about people's lives here.
Yeah.
Yes, fictional people. Or we're talking about fictional
there are
people's
more
lives.
I said that movie. There are more qualified people than me. All right, get somebody else to find the werewolf.
Daniel Craig in here or
Yeah.
somebody.
Daniel
He's pretty
Craig
good.
is-
He's
oh,
pretty
what was
good at the
his-
mystery.
What's his
Benoit
name?
Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. He's just happy because he gets to sit most of the time and doesn't blow his knees and back out anymore like he did on Bond.
I can't wait for the sequel.
They
Me
finished
too.
filming it. They're done shooting.
So excited.
In Italy. He's going to Italy in this one, which is cool.
Fancy.
I like the idea of him being a globe-trotting detective in these.
Yes. And I just like the fact of hearing that ridiculous accent coming out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. He's having so much fun in those.
It's a lot better than his American accent, so.
Well, it is an American accent. Ooh.
Oh, that yeah. We've poked
Sorry,
the bear.
I'm a Southerner.
Brendan's
Elliot,
from the
and,
South. You
shots
wouldn't know
have been
it.
fired.
You don't have the Southern accent though, even though you are very much from the South.
I'm a Mississippian.
Oh wow!
I was grown. I was grown in a lab.
Grown.
Your parents said, "Can we get that accent out of him somehow with the genetics?"
It was the TV. That was how I grew up. Me and my brother both don't have it.
Yeah.
But if we need to, we can put it on. And, my father talks like this, and it was all like that. And but no.
I've never met your father, but I have heard your impression of him several times, and it's quite delightful.
Thanks. Actually, he talks more like this. Like, hey man.
That's
hey,
it. That's it.
I'm really proud of you doing that the podcasting thing. You watching those movies? You watch Beast Must Die? I figured it out.
Isn't it adorable? The impression of his father's adorable?
Werewolf Break, man. I knew it. Well, because he used to play like folk music, so he's kind of a hep cat because he still says like, "Hey man, that's cool. That's cool, man." All right, 80-year-old Southerner.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
So the wolf.
I do love his accent. Daniel Craig's accent is ridiculous, but it is close. It sounds a lot like people I know.
So this is where
detectives.
after this second silver candlestick test, this is where
I wanted
finally
a third one.
Yeah.
no, we
Waiting
get
for
something
the
much
third candlestick
crazier
test.
down the stretch.
Yeah.
Tom's wife is talking to him and is like, "For the love of God, please stop."
This is bull.
And as she's pleading with him to stop with this, he is just putting together a massive rifle. He's just,
Yep.
Nope. It's just like, oh my God, he's off the deep
We can't
end.
forget that she's like, yeah, and what if it turns out I'm the werewolf? And he goes,
And he's like,
goes,
"Pow."
pow.
Yikes.
And she is not pleased.
No, she's like,
And because it's just like, I would kill you and not question it for a second. I'd sleep like a baby.
almost as if it was trying to foreshadow something there.
Yeah. But instead, the werewolf has been spotted. This is where we unfortunately lose our friend the dog. Who does he get a name, the dog?
I believe there is at one point a
can't remember
name,
what
but
it
I don't
is.
remember what it is.
I don't remember.
But yeah, we get this very disturbing fight. Then, okay, so they
Basically, in
but-
this scene, the dog and Tom's wife, who's chasing the dog, doesn't care about the werewolf.
Yeah.
is chasing after
well,
the dog.
much like me, she's more invested in the safety of this dog than anybody else in the movie.
So the dog tries to protect them from the werewolf. So the werewolf and the dog fight. The dog gets seriously wounded while the wife is like, "Don't shoot the dog," while he's fighting the werewolf. And he's like, "All right, I won't." She keeps trying to bat and then the helicopter pilot's just outside. This is all in the barn. And the helicopter pilot's like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Yeah.
And then the werewolf
Hey,
I'm also
attacks him.
here.
You gonna be needing the helicopter anymore tonight?
Then the werewolf attacks the helicopter pilot, and it does look like the dog is very happy to see its owner.
It is.
They're doing that like arms of the pads up on the
Yeah.
shoulders, like, we're dancing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But-
the helicopter pilot actor is trying to make it like this struggle, but it's clearly the dog is just on him, and he's like,
It's just
"Oh,
like
no,
Bela
I'm being
Lugosi with
killed."
the rubber octopus. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah. Oh.
I'm dying.
Poor
Oh,
Bela.
what a terrible thing. This dog is licking his face. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm being eaten.
I know I keep saying this, but I have to buy this Blu-ray because
I want you to have this for you, Ellen.
50-50 on the dog having like just been the actor who plays the helicopter pilot's dog.
Come here, boy.
Why wouldn't that have shown up in the IMDb trivia?
Yeah.
That's true.
Actually, a helicopter pilot's dog.
Yeah.
It does
So,
look like they're at least
because
friends.
and so then we see Tom with his gun trying to go, pilot dog, I can't get the thing. So instead he misses wildly and blows up his helicopter.
It's pretty, again, it's ridiculous. It is just the fact that a
I
stray
laughed
bullet,
so hard.
it doesn't just hit the fuel tank. That thing goes up.
It hits the fucking self-destruct button on
Damn!
the helicopter.
And there's
Suddenly,
no
it
reaction
is
from Tom.
fucking
He's just like,
Apocalypse Now. I mean, I'm like, I'm having Saigon flashbacks.
Yeah, well,
to the way
Robert
that
Duvall did
helicopter
show
goes
up and talk about the smell of napalm during this scene.
Oh.
So
I was like, that's a weird touch.
yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. The whole thing goes up. The
Yeah.
werewolf gets away, as it will. And now you've got a dead pilot and a dog that's about
The
dead.
dog is dying, and this is where I want to talk about some dog acting, because every time they cut to the close-up of this dying dog, and its eye is closed, and that opens like, we still, okay. It almost seems like the dog is going, we still rolling? Okay.
Dog is just counting
still-
the seconds till it gets its treat.
Yeah, you still have the treat off screen, right?
Yeah.
I closed my eyes and I forgot it was there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
You
just
got
like,
the sausages, right?
I don't know, this
Oh,
dog doesn't
thank
look
God.
like, I know they put fake blood on it, but it doesn't seem this dog is on death's door. It really is just like, okay.
And she's like, no, it's been hurt. And he's like, okay, why don't you go back to the house? Oh, because everyone else is rushed out, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, could you see her back to the house? And then he puts the dog down.
Yeah, he pulls out his pistol and shoots the dog.
Again, that's I just want to make sure everyone knows that is a trigger warning.
Yep. And
Yes,
then
the dog does die in The Beast Must Die.
yeah, you can go to there's the whole website, Does the Dog Die? And unfortunately and I didn't realize how deep that website goes into like, does the bird die? Does the such and such die? You can really
Wow.
get deep
Yeah.
into there, yeah. If it's Jurassic Park, yeah, some dinosaurs almost always die.
Do die.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah.
They're not real though. They're not real.
Yeah. They-
Ooh, I should have said that off mic.
I wonder who the
Sorry.
dinosaur-
Oh.
The dinosaurs were.
You're sitting there in the credits going, I wonder who the dinosaur trainer was on this thing. They did a
Yeah.
great job.
I'm gonna check the IMDb, see who the Dino Wrangler was.
So
Yeah.
when he gets back to the house, this is where everyone, for the third time in the movie, everybody's like, come on, Tom. And instead, this is such a great move from Tom to be like, no, you shouldn't be mad at me. I'm mad at this werewolf.
The werewolf's the one who blew the helicopter up, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Wait, is this when Paul runs and tries to get away, or is that after this?
No, that's this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's this, where because this is where everyone's had enough.
Because
and
again, that's the film like going, we're being clever. That makes Paul look awfully much like a werewolf, right? He's trying to get away.
and
He's
so
got those damn hairy hands.
They're so hairy.
this is also, oh no, this is when they find Charles Gray, who has died off
yeah.
screen.
Off screen. We forgot he was there.
Charles Gray.
Oh,
they do so
my
little with
favorite-
him in this.
My favorite thing is it looks like, the bedroom's been trashed, there's blood on the walls.
Yeah.
He's laying there. We know he's dead. But they do this close up of his hand, which is clutching like fur. So he got some of the werewolf's fur in his
Charles
hand.
Gray put up a
that.
fight.
So-
That's what I want to know. Yes, good.
Oh yeah. but they do the close up and then they show fresh blood start to leak out of his hand. And I'm like
Yeah.
going, was that necessary? Because for one thing, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Why is now just a bunch of blood coming out of the
Yeah.
middle of his hand?
I do like they did them going, we need a little
need
something here.
Something.
We
The
get-
fur's not enough.
Where's
Yeah, I
that?
know.
Where's our blood guy?
It's like a latent bleeding. Like it's
Yeah.
been a while,
Yeah.
but now it's just now coming out.
Like the
Great.
blood
The
had all
heart-
collected
the
in
heart
the
is-
hand.
Yeah.
And it
the
was,
heart
but
had
it was
one last
sto-
pump in it.
Yeah, and then it
That's
just
how
kind of goes,
science
"It's
works.
one more blood spurt. That'll really get
It's
the
one of those
audience
things where
going.
he'll also twitch and freak everybody out,
Yeah.
or maybe he'll fart and someone will have to say, no, the body does that after death.
That feels
Love
like a Cushing line.
Yeah.
No, the passing of gas is something that often happens after a body
Actually,
dies.
speaking of Peter Cushing lines, this is the scene where Cushing goes, "All right, we should really call the police now." And Tom is just instantly like, "No
the werewolf
cops."
experts like going, yeah, like people are dying. So this is where police come in.
I said no cops.
I'm just an academic werewolf professor.
I didn't actually believe all that.
I was on
bullshit,
board
especially
for-
that nonsense
Did you hear
about,
me? I was talking about wolfsbane
Yeah.
pollen and shit. I don't even know. I'm drunk.
I teach
I made that up
werewolf
on the flight
theory.
over.
Werewolf theory, damn you! Not ready for a real werewolf.
I've never been out in the field.
I've got some theories on golems and griffins and shit too. It's just all made up.
Yeah, where are all his
Yeah.
super... I mean, I wish he had his supernatural books that he has in the Dracula movies, because Van Helsing always has his shelf where he's like, yes, vampires, let's see.
I love it
That's
too
a
because
V.
they're always these great looking leather tomes,
Yeah.
but they always have vampire on the title, and you're like, great. I wonder what this one's about.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then upon them finding Charles Gray and all this stuff, this is when Calvin Lockhart gets the titular line of, "Tonight, the beast must die."
Love it.
Well, and there's "Tonight, the beast must die, ... and will."
And will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because that left some questions hanging. It's like,
this is
oh
where...
yeah, but will it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. The pause he takes is like that. The beast must die, and will. Audience, don't worry.
Again,
it's going to happen.
He's making a meal.
Movie should have been called "The Beast Must Die ... and will."
I love Calvin just chewing it up.
This is where we cut to Paul, who has just decided, I don't need a car. I'm just gonna book it off of this estate.
Just gonna fucking run.
Yeah, he like, oh, okay, well, there's a fence. Okay, can't get. Oh, there's a tree that'll get me. And then, yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunately,
he gets stopped.
He hits an electric fence.
Yep.
An electrified fence.
Idiot.
What hasn't Tom thought of? And then he's like, oh, I'll just climb over this tree over the fence. But slips and falls, and Tom is right on him.
And it says,
And where were
you're
you
not going? Anywhere.
Like it does.
And
yeah.
again, it's just them trying to like plant the seed. Like clearly he wanted to go, but then Tom very clearly says once they get back and we're about to do the silver bullet test, he's like going, "Dude, I'm scared. It's not that I'm guilty. I want to get the fuck out of here because people are dying."
Well, this is where he goes, "That's it. I'm taking you back to the estate." And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, the werewolf clock has started. This is our werewolf break. Before we get back for the big drawing room scene where, once again, though, this movie plays like a detective movie, but Tom is a terrible detective.
Yeah,
So he has no... They present this like it's going to be the end of an episode of Columbo where he's like, now that I've gathered all the suspects... Instead, he has
the
nothing to
18th
say.
Time I bring up Ellery Queen, but yes, I do expect.
This is the show.
see
Most of the show is me
Jim
bringing
Hutton
up
walk out
Columbo
and
and you bring up Ellery Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know who the werewolf is.
Yeah.
Have you figured it out?
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
That is essentially what happens here.
Yeah. Except he doesn't know who the werewolf
No.
is.
And he is, in fact, surprised by who it turns out to be.
Yeah.
It takes
Air
him.
quotes.
Yeah, we're about to get there, but it takes him much longer post that realization to ask the question that almost every single one of us has asked the second that is revealed, as in, hey, the werewolf and that person were in the same location. They could not at the same time.
It is not until he has
of-
killed
yeah.
that person that he asks that.
Yeah.
That would have been instantaneous.
You know, Tom's kind of a shoot first, ask questions later sort of guy.
He kind of is.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
That leads us to the bullet sucking contest, which again, I can't think of a party I've gone to in the past few years that didn't have this.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part about quarantine for me, is the lack of the bullet sucking contests.
Yeah.
I get my friends together. We sit in a circle. We pass around bullets to suck on.
Yeah. So here he's got everyone gathered in this room, and once again, I think this is where he's going to present his evidence. I know.
No, yes,
who the
you do
werewolf
think
is.
it's going to be that.
It's set up as that in every
figured it out.
Perot novel or whatever. Instead,
I know who's a werewolf is.
Yeah. Oh, that. Now I need Kenneth Branagh.
Have told me
I need Kenneth Branagh with the crazy mustache looking for a werewolf. That's the movie I need.
Oh.
Poirot's in public domain, right?
No. Agatha Christie.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You could have Sherlock Holmes any day of the week go after a werewolf, though.
True.
I'm sure someone has. There must be a comic book somewhere.
Yeah.
I think I have one where he's
met
fighting
Dracula
vampires.
several
Yeah,
times.
I think I have a Sherlock Holmes Dracula comic around here somewhere. Anyway, so this is where he goes, well, if they put coating on their hands, no one could coat the inside of their mouths. And he pulls the magazine out of his gun, and he goes, there's enough bullets for each of you, and a few left over to deal with whatever we find, you know.
I also don't know why the bullets after they've been sucked on couldn't just go back in the gun. As if well, I'm running out of silver bullets, but these have been icky. They've been licked. Ugh.
No, thank you. No,
Can't put them back in the gun.
Yeah. Because later he will say, I don't have any more bullets.
Yeah, he goes, one bullet left. I'm like,
that's
why don't you just go back to the living room where there's like 4 of them laying around?
Also, you would think that armory he has of weapons, there would be bullets around this place, right? If the way he was just
not
wasting
after the
bullets
kind of
earlier.
rounds he was laying out.
Shouldn't have got so trigger happy with the machine gun.
Yeah.
He should have them just stashed in like the various planters and like the weird boxes that are on all the fucking tables.
Yeah. Oh, that's where I left more bullets. I forgot.
Like a video game character.
Yeah.
Just break a vase. There's a bunch of bullets
in this guy's house. I would believe it. Yeah.
No, it's another health pack. Don't need that yet.
So yeah, he has everybody put bullets in their mouths. Crazy. Peter Cushing, not a werewolf. Never thought Peter Cushing was going to be a werewolf.
No.
Mainly because, honestly, I don't even know why he has him do this. Peter Cushing was never even a suspect, was he? He was brought here for his expertise. There weren't mysterious murders associated with him.
And Tom says something at dinner or like when he reveals that he's going to kill one of them because they're a werewolf, that he's like, oh, doctor, you could have studied werewolves because you are one.
Even though, unlike all the other people, whether they werewolf or not, have had people mauled around them, you seem to have not. But yeah, so Peter Cushing's cool.
I have to say that the
Paul is cool. He's good.
Tom will say this too, where he's like going when he approaches his wife and he says, "Don't want to play favorites."
Yeah,
and you're like going, right, but none of us have thought that she was a werewolf for the entire movie because she also didn't have anyone killed around her.
Right. Yeah. And in fact, as will be stated later, we've seen her and the werewolf in the same scenes.
Yeah.
But no, believe it or not, she's a werewolf. And in fact, she even goes like, her whole tone with this dialogue is almost like, you're not going to like what happens now. Because she goes, time to take my medicine. And then, before she even goes to we see her lift her hand up, and it's a werewolf hand.
She
almost as hairy as Paul's.
Almost.
Nearly.
Still mine's
I
hairier.
think Sasquatch has, not as much fur on his hands.
Is that fucking guy?
but she was literally exposed. We find out through the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Who got
because
we saw she the werewolf
had cut her hand, so the open wound. But we'll find that out later when Peter Cushing explains it to us.
But that was literally like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So why the hell is she sitting there when she takes that bullet, going, "You're not gonna dig it because I'm a werewolf"? Mm-hmm. Did she just know instantly? Like, yeah, I'm it.
So she jumps on him and is attacking him, and he shoots her. And he's like, "Well,"
he shoots his own wife.
Well. And
he does seem to be at least a little more broken up about it than than with Pavel.
This is where he drops his knees and goes, "No!"
Not quite. He's still not that upset. I still don't think he
Yeah.
was upset enough.
I think he's more upset that that he
This is embarrassing, you
wasn't
guys.
somebody else. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, also,
My own wife, I
climbed to the
really
mountaintop.
should've, yeah.
He's realized his dream and found it was empty. He's like,
Yeah.
well, I killed a werewolf.
Because he does go, I've
What do
killed
I do
the werewolf.
tomorrow? He's
doesn't
actually
he,
trying
doesn't
to
he have
think
a
about,
line where he
what
goes,
do I
I've
do
killed
tomorrow?
the beast, I've killed her. Or
And
whatever.
then he starts thinking what we thought instantly. And it's
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, and he's like, wait a minute.
Hold it.
I saw the werewolf while she was
Yes.
right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You know, and Peter Cushing is immediately going like, well, he had no choice. She was going to kill you. So he's trying to talk him down. And everybody else has left the room.
Yeah.
Kind of weirdly left the room.
Well, it's the whole thing of like, it's like, this is really grim, and they leave the room, and it's like, they're getting to the point of like, oh, wait a minute. And then Cushing has to lay out the blood could be transferred from the dog to the open wound, and then finally Calvin, sorry, not Calvin, but Tom's like, so that she wasn't the original werewolf, and then we hear a scream, and
Yeah.
it's Davina or whatever.
Yeah. And it has killed Paul.
Man.
Yeah. And we get Tom going like, oh, jeez. Sorry about that, Davina. Oh, there he is. Hi. Columbo couldn't stand not to be on camera there. So,
I want to see my little boy. Here he comes.
The audience can't see this, but if you were expecting a Columbo break, we are now experiencing a Columbo break.
yeah, the thing I got to watch out is make sure he doesn't get the hard drive because he will knock it out of the thing.
He's thinking about it. You can actually
He's
see
thinking
the
about
wheels
it.
turning.
He's a little scamp.
He's a scam.
Yeah, so he chases the wolf out into the woods, and yes, with previously mentioned only one bullet left.
Mm-hmm.
He chases this thing out into the woods. They fight. It similarly looks like the helicopter pilot fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And he is able to shoot the wolf, who transforms back into Dumbledore. I mean, Michael Gambon.
Yes.
Yep.
And they don't pan down. The question of do the clothes change with him is not answered.
No,
Nope.
it isn't. We'll have to use our imaginations for that.
I always imagine a naked Michael Gambon, but that's just me. I do
That's just
during
Brendan.
at least, 7 of the 8 Harry Potter films.
So then Tom sullenly walks back to he's done it, but at what cost, I guess.
Yeah.
At what cost?
Back
We
to the
live in a
estate.
society, etc., etc.
All the stuff. We walk back to the estate where Peter Cushing, just comes out holding a rifle for no reason. He's like, oh, did you get that werewolf? Good, I guess I don't need this except for in promotional images that will
Yeah.
make me seem like the hero of this movie.
I kind of think that he must have known.
He was ready
Or
for
suspected. He was ready.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was prepared for
But
it.
yeah, so Tom comes back, and so the only survivors are Davina and the professor and Tom.
Yeah.
And then Tom's like, I'm all right. And he's like,
I was just
whoa, whoa,
bruised,
whoa,
he
what?
said. Yeah. I was just bruised. But then they're like, really? Because you're actively bleeding from your shoulder. And yeah, he
And
pulls...
he's like, "Oh, it appears I am."
He
Yeah.
goes, what's a bruise but bleeding under the skin?
Yeah.
And then he gets really technical.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
no, you're bleeding outside the skin.
And so, yeah, we
That
see...
goes on for the next 20 minutes.
We
That
see
goes
the-
on meandering.
We see the
Hey, in your
werewolf
rewrite,
sketch.
John, cut that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's note number 1. Yeah,
The discussion of bruises. So Tom knows what's up.
yeah.
And he's like, you guys probably don't want to see this, so you should probably stay outside.
And he grabs another silver bullet, which has appeared because now it's for the rifle. So I guess he didn't just have one bullet left.
He had a rifle shell and he had
Yeah.
a bullet for the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he goes inside, and this is where Davina just starts freaking out. No, it can't be. There must
Yeah,
be
there
a
has
cure.
to be a cure.
There must be. And then Peter Cushing does get a pretty good line, which is, there is only one cure.
Yep.
And yeah.
And he never answers what it is. I
Yeah.
kept waiting.
yeah.
It's like, why don't you say it quick? Because your friend's about to blow his brains out.
Yeah. Oh, it was penicillin!
never-
Tom, it's penicillin! Oh, no.
Oh, too late.
I
Ooh.
just remembered it's easily cured. Oh, damn. That's my
It's
bad.
fine. Gotten-
Oh,
I'd finally gotten to that chapter in the book about what the cure
I
is.
told him I didn't know everything about werewolves. Because, yes, Tom, we see him grab the gun and he puts his...
it's ibuprofen. Oh no!
Oh, I have some in my pocket, Oh, dear.
Yeah, beans.
Yeah.
It's Bear's children's ass. He's dead. He's dead.
He's God.
Yeah, because we see him.
Now we know.
Very, very haunting ending as we see him put his finger on the trigger and it pulls to the outside of the house.
It's pretty good.
Well, I will say it's pretty good right up until the credits roll and this real funky music starts playing.
What else did you expect?
Best choice.
But you're just like, man, that doesn't fit the tone of this ending at all.
I kind of thought with that because he's getting
I'm
the
just
rifle
glad
ready.
Peter Cushing made it out of this thing.
I thought he was going to say the beast must die again.
Oh,
I
that
kind
would've
of thought
been-
he
yeah.
would, now he's talking about himself and he did.
He
but
says
no.
the beast must die again, and then he's like,
No, not the beast.
no. Then he
must
says,
die.
and by that I mean I have become the beast, and
Yeah.
I will now kill myself.
Yeah, but no, we didn't get that.
No, he doesn't
But
say
yeah, the funky music starts and you're in good hands.
Yeah, and that's the end of the beast must die.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, a nice reprieve from the amount of Dracula and Frankenstein adaptations we get. This was something new. It was trying to do something.
It's goofy as
I don't
fuck.
think succeeding on the level it wanted to succeed. It is entertaining as hell, but
Yep.
it does. I don't think it works as this drawing room slow burn thriller they think they're making.
Nah.
It's just so wild, though. So many crazy things happen in this movie.
I finally have seen a film where a person looks at a bunch of people and says, "One of you in this room is a werewolf," and I can die happy now.
More movies need that.
It's true.
Someone in this room is a werewolf.
One of us in this podcast is a werewolf.
Oh, I mean, it's me.
Yeah, man, that was
Worst
a short.
reveal
short
ever.
If I was a werewolf, you couldn't get me to shut up about it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Boom! It's me.
Yeah. And you
Full
would
moon tonight, babes. Don't come into the woods. I might kill you. Peace.
you would start
I'm
sentences
gonna go
with
chain myself up for 3 days.
you would
See
start
you
every
later.
sentence with as a
Meet
werewolf.
Chinese food, but don't get too close.
Or
You know
say
what I'm
things.
saying.
You'd say things like, "Speaking from a werewolf's perspective,"
Yeah.
and we'd be like, "We get it,
I
Elliot.
think
You're
I'm
a
the only
werewolf."
one who can address this from the werewolf perspective.
I know. We understand. You're a werewolf. Just everybody's so tired of it.
This film is very slanted against my kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Oh,
was,
I would do that thing that, like, I mean, I do this as an artist, like when actors are pretending to be artists in movies. I'm like, it's not how you do it. It's not how you do it. But if I was a
we
werewolf,
all
I'd be like, it's not like that.
Yeah,
We all do it.
sorry.
And it's for certain
buy
things
it.
too. It's like if you've ever lived anywhere and then you see something that was shot there and you're like, no.
Oh,
No.
that's me in anything set in Portland, pretty much. Where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that street doesn't turn into that part of town. No.
Yeah.
I will
It's
say
like,
I really liked Pig, but doing the mental math of like the map of Portland I have in my head about like all the places that there are in one night,
don't
I'm like,
spoil
that's
it. seen it.
possible.
It's good.
Well, it's a movie that's set in Portland, so that's
Does it involve a pig?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't burying the lead with that title.
There is there is a pig.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you
do we
know,
recommend?
Again, speaking of Jack Nicholson, Wolf,
Yeah.
they did not really do anything to hide that either.
No. So, do we recommend people watch The Beast Must Die?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna.
Get drunk with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Don't tell them
This
about
one
the
really
movie.
is
Try to get them, like, keep the secret.
Uh-huh.
Make a drinking game out of it or something.
Yes.
Every time you see Paul's hairy hands, you take a shot.
Yes.
It adds up. It's there.
Anytime someone touches a candlestick,
Yeah.
or sucks a bullet,
Yeah.
which is not a suicide euphemism. They
No.
literally suck bullets.
Literally suck the bullets.
I think that's a first for me. I've never just seen somebody pop a bullet in their mouth like they do in this
Really?
movie. It was
No,
I was
haven't
watching it
either.
going, they're really gonna we're really gonna do this.
Yeah, all right.
I think, as we've said before, I enjoyed this very much on my own. But this is one of those where you're right, Elliot. You get a bunch of people together, and then you play the game. It is,
Yeah.
it is a dumb mystery.
Yeah.
but
It doesn't make
it's so
sense, as
fun
we
that
pointed
it's
out on many levels, but it
Werewolf
is
Break is
fun. And
all day long.
the movie's just so bonkers
It
that
is.
it really
Yeah.
like it makes all the weirdest choices. So it
It does waste Michael Gambon,
It
and
does.
unfortunately, both the actresses don't bring a lot to it.
No,
but they're not given a lot to
well,
work with.
Particularly Davina gets absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
she's just there to be a fucking like wayfish ingenue,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Though the scream was good, though we don't even know if that was actually her screaming,
Yeah.
but because it's off
This is
camera.
true. We don't need
But,
to. We have one on in the archive, so we'll just use that.
Totally enjoyed it. Yes.
Yeah, it's very fun. Brendan, next week.
Oh.
Oh, yes, please.
Elliot, bring it.
I did promise. Sorry, we can't do Chekhov's Elliot figured out who the werewolf was the first time they
right,
watched it.
right,
and
right.
then not pay
Yes,
off.
yes.
That is the rule.
I knew that it was Jan because he's also very hairy, and that is literally like what I think what it literally was. I mean, he's got that really cool, great beard, and he's like super
Yeah.
hairy. Of course, he's the werewolf.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was what I said, half as a joke. And then he turned out to be the werewolf, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Now, while Paul has the unbelievably hairy hands,
hairy. The
it is
hairiest
true
hands
that-
I've ever seen on a man.
it is true that Jan is got very 70s full dark hair, like longish, and he does have like this beard and big droopy mustache. And yeah,
Yeah,
just based on looks, you're like, oh, that's the werewolf.
that's
right
the
there.
werewolf.
There's your werewolf right there. He's also
I figured it out from the reluctance with the touching of the candlestick and the fact that they skipped over him in that second one. I was like, yeah, that's it right there.
there you go.
Yeah.
And they kept talking about, oh, he's ill right now.
Yeah,
And he was the first guy to try to leave.
that was also part of it.
Yeah,
It was
that's
like, he's trying to go.
that
Of
might
course
actually-
he's the werewolf.
that might actually be bad screenwriting. That's too obvious.
Oh, there's a lot of bad screenwriting in this.
there is. It's as we
I'm
said.
glad that paid off, Elliot. I'm glad you
Yeah.
reminded us.
Yes, indeed. Next week on the show, Brendan, we're talking
What?
about a not at all insane movie called Phantom of the Paradise.
I can't believe we got there.
Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise. Yes.
I spoiler alert. I fucking love Phantom of the Paradise.
too.
I'm not even
The
gonna dance
Paradise
around it.
rules.
so
I have the
good.
soundtrack on my fucking iTunes.
It's
I
so
cannot wait.
good. Yeah.
And it is bat shit.
It
It is nuts.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the ones we've been waiting for. The way these seasons usually work out is there's a lot of like, either we haven't seen it or it's like, oh boy, I don't remember that being very good. But then there are these little gems where we're like, if we can just get to, like
Yep.
we had that about the Night
Remember
Stalker.
I told you I went to that screening of Bugsy Malone and Paul Williams was in the audience
Yeah.
with his son
Yeah.
just to watch it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Paul Williams. Now that was great because I love Bugsy Malone. But if I had been at a Phantom of the Paradise screening and Paul Williams was there, I
Yeah.
would have lost it. I would have lost it.
Yeah, finally the glam rock version of Phantom of the Opera. Because that is the other
With mouse.
that is the other
It's all
monster
just
we
mixed
do on here. He doesn't have as many movies as the other guys, but usually at least once a season we get a Phantom
we'll
of the
have
Opera.
a
in here.
Phantom,
We
yeah.
get two next season for the 80s. We
Yeah,
get
yeah.
we get the Robert Englund one,
Right.
and we also
Oh,
get Phantom
yeah.
of the Mall.
You know, we could have done the TV movie Phantom of Hollywood. We could have done that this season.
We could have.
It's 70s.
We did.
TV movie. It's not good, but I
a lot
remember
of the
it.
stuff we watch. isn't good, but- anyway,
but,
Phantom of the
Elliot,
Paradise.
I'm gonna thank you so much for coming on. Your enthusiasm for this infectious,
Thank you.
Mhm.
and yeah, anytime, any movie you're feeling strong about, it would be a delight to have you back.
Well, when you guys get to the aughts, I'm coming back for Van Helsing.
Oh my
for
God.
sure.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a problematic movie for me. It will be delightful. because I hate it.
Really?
Oh,
and
no.
I dig the hell out of that one. I saw
I'm-
that in the theater.
Me
That
too.
I did
ruled.
too.
I'm
you kidding? I had
mean-
Burger King tie-in toys and shit. I was
Yeah, I
pumped.
did.
And then I saw it, and then I felt betrayed.
I don't know.
and I burned
kinda,
the theater
I
down.
kind of love it. But
I
also,
love it in concept.
it's
I
an
love.
amazing concept.
Execution sucks.
See, and part of it. Okay, this is becoming the Van Helsing
This is
episode.
a preview
but I
of
was also
an
like,
episode
I was
many
also like
moons from
11
now.
when it came out.
Yeah.
So
This-
I was very much like,
These are frequent conversations that John and I have.
Yeah.
I am young at heart, and I still get very excited for a Dracula, a Werewolf, a Frankenstein movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it says a lot about when the stuff you see when you're young, it just implants itself, and that is your ideal or something you love, and you will never see it with critical eyes because you saw it when you were a kid.
Right.
like, I could say 2 critical things about, or actually probably one actual critical thought about Van Helsing 2004, and that's it.
I have more than that, but
freely admit that.
but
I
do
throw
think it's
some
pretty fun.
critique at Superman the movie, and I could throw some critique at the original Star Wars. But to see
Those
those
are
as a
pretty-
child when they were
Yeah, but
first in the theaters,
Those are pretty legitimate classics, though.
I know
There's not
but
a lot of
it's-
debate on those.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say, they're not exactly a Van Helsing where you don't get a lot of pushback on Star Wars and Superman.
Yeah, it's true. It's now up to me to find something that I love that people go, that was shit, but I'm
Yeah.
not exactly.
And you
sure
and
what
I have
that is
talked
because
about
I
our-
have exquisite taste.
Yeah, you and I have talked about Hook a lot on here, but I love me some Hook.
I like Hook, okay, but the central conceit of it being Robin Williams, an American, is
Here we
Peter
go.
Pan, one of the
Here
most
we go
essential
again.
British characters of
Here
literature.
we go again. We got to
And
wrap
I love
up the
Robin
show before.
Williams.
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
No.
Elliot, thanks for coming on. You will be
You're
back. I
welcome.
have no doubt. But that is going to do it for this week's episode.
And I want to see your list, Elliot. I want to see your list.
Oh yeah, I gotta look at it.
We put it
Post
up on
it.
I think we posted it on the Panel Up social media. If it was, it might have
A
been
million
on there.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
Shit, I got to take another werewolf break.